Hey.
What's up?
How y'all doing? We got 38 in here already.
Yeah, good start.
I know, man. That's pretty good. Well, welcome, everyone. We're going to have a short stream tonight.
Darn it.
I know we say that every night, every stream.
We got to tonight.
But we got to tonight. Yep.
I got a 12-hour drive in the morning.
Yeah, mine's not that bad. Mine's, well, this afternoon I put it in the GPS and it said 4 hours and 10 minutes.
That ain't bad at all. I wish.
Well, it's 250 miles, 251 miles to be exact.
Don't quote me. I want to say 697. I think that's what it was. I don't forget now. Yeah, but I mean, I kind of factored in stops for gas and bathroom stuff like that. A snack.
Yeah, hopefully there's no traffic issues or anything like that. That's what really.
Hopefully, ain't no snowstorm up there this year.
Not well. I just saw Sean Boutaire said that it was like Bouters was like 75. Charlie's there. Charlie better jump in. We're going to drop the link real quick, guys, because we're only going to go for about an hour, and that's going to be that for tonight. So we're going to try to cut it off right around 9 o'clock, and so just know that coming in. That my sister looks like my sister's watching. So hey, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting evening. Getting ready to get out of here. I'm like Lee. Well, I don't know. I might even be a little bit further progressed than Lee. I've got as far as stuff packed, right? I mean, my wife was doing it all, so I didn't have to do anything.
I've got very little packed right now. I still got clothes in the washer, clothes in the dryer. I hadn't packed anything in the office. Vehicle's cleaned out, but I hadn't put anything in it yet.
Yeah, and it's Lee's fault that we got to go short because he's got to pack his computer up to carry it.
I just had to finish bottling the rest of the little bit of the mead that I had a while ago.
So, hey, do us a favor, smash the thumbs up button. We appreciate that. Charlie did his first inaugural live stream on New Year's Eve and broke all the records. 6 hours live stream. 6 hours on his first live stream. So that was pretty cool. And we had a good time. We had some people from his local bee club. That was pretty exciting. Some people, we haven't met before. And James.
Charlie's live up. It was 6 hours, 1 minute, and 57 seconds.
What was James' last name? I always forget his last name.
McNally.
McNally. James McNally. Really cool guy. From west. Oh, thanks, Phil. West of the of Ian Stepler. So he's been working with Ian, I guess, a little bit from what I gathered. And trying to get things going. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link, guys, so we can get this thing going. We're not going to do a lot of our own talking here. Bam. And then I can pin it up over here. And pin message. There we go. So Charlie is already there, right? I guess Castle's coming Saturday?
Yeah, he's coming Saturday. His son's getting married. I believe it's Friday. Correct, Brian?
Oh, looky here. Looky here.
Devil.
Oh, he must have took his laptop.
Yeah.
Hey, Sevierville looks a lot like Maryland right there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. I don't know this. Let me get it.
I can tell Charlie didn't bring that new microphone with him.
I'm going to do the virtual background. None. There we go.
Yeah, it looked like Brian's son getting married Friday, and he'll be there Saturday.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you, buddy. Got the super chats rolling in already today. Super stickers.
Mm. Yeah, it's coming down the road. It was 74 degrees. 75 actually, and we got here earlier than we normally did. Of course, we left early, and we got here at 3:30, and then it poured the rain, and it is, well, right now the rain's gone. It's wet, but no rain. So, and it's, I don't know, it's 50 to 60 degrees out there right now.
It was,
weather's very nice as compared to last year.
It was 73 degrees here today.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought it was supposed to be in the 50s and 60s, but it got all the way up to 75 coming down the road.
Well, I had something really cool today happen. When I came home from work, right before I got home, I got a phone call, and a teacher had found me on Google, and she's like one of the English second language teachers.
Yeah.
So they're going to come here in March, a group of teachers, and we're going to film a video, like a Zoom, but as I'm doing the walkthrough of the apiary with them,
right,
they're going to translate it into Spanish and then into Chinese as we're going.
As far as
for the students.
Yeah, but you're going to explain how to become a beekeeper type of thing, or what?
Yeah, just explain to the kids about the bees and everything.
Just general knowledge type of about the beehives. Yeah.
Now, are all the kids coming too, or just a teacher?
As far as I know, just the teachers, and they're going to Zoom it to the students.
Okay. I was about to say, if the kids are coming, you might need a few sting reliefs.
Sting reliefs? Yeah, and might have to do something. I told them EpiPens. Make sure if they're allergic, make sure they find out ahead of time. So it wasn't too bad coming down there?
Oh, no, the weather was perfect, and traffic was really light, actually. And I was wondering whether are there people either staying home or they haven't got back to work or not. I don't know.
Well, it is off season for that area.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Interstate 81 coming from Baltimore, and we left 4:45, something like that. And at that time, the Baltimore Beltway was pretty, there was traffic, but it was light. It was easy to get around, wasn't nerve-wracking. And it was pretty much light all the way down until maybe we got closer to Sevierville, where the exit is to go off. And that's when it kind of, the traffic was a little bit heavier, but not that bad. We seen one, luckily it was northbound on Interstate 81, I believe it was, tractor and trailer fire. He was off the side of the road and flames were coming out from up under the back of the cab. So hopefully, I'm sure he was out, but finally the cops and I seen a fire engine finally going up there.
Okay.
and everything. So other than that, we basically had good weather, good traveling conditions. Like I say, it just rained here as soon as we got in around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And then by 8 o'clock, by 7:30 tonight, it was quit raining. So it says it's going to be clear Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow it's supposed to be some rain, but I don't see it on the radar right now. So it looks like great weather. I mean, last January when I got down here, it was 50, 55 degrees Wednesday. And then Thursday it was threatening snow, which here at the location, we might have had a quarter of an inch, enough to make the pavement wet. And then the folks coming in, the vendors coming in from the Midwest, and I know Brian can attest to this from Castle Hives, they almost not made it here. And also Greg Burns, the interstate from Knoxville to Nashville, they actually shut it down. That's how bad it got. But and then some of the vendors were a day late. So it looks to me this time everybody's going to make it, and weather's going to be good for traveling for everybody across the country, from what I can see off the radars. So it looks great.
I'm going to try to get there around lunchtime tomorrow.
All right.
Somewhere around there. So
yeah, I checked out where you're about
4 hours and 10 minutes is what it said.
Yeah, your room is about 15 minutes south of me.
Okay.
You're about 15 or 20 minutes south of the conference center. But I looked at Cayman's video today. That place is nice looking.
Mm-hmm.
It's real nice.
Oh, the place I'm going to?
Yeah.
Oh, is that where Cayman's staying too?
I don't know, but it's he had a little tour video type thing. It's got these big chimney fireplaces in a vestibule and a big eating area, breakfast, free breakfast type stuff. It looks really nice.
Well, that's where I know Dirt Rooster's staying in that hotel.
Okay.
So.
I know he seemed like Cayman was, I'm going by his Facebook videos that he was checking it out for some reason, other than it's not big enough for Hive Life or nothing like that.
Daisy said he's on the first floor.
With me? Okay.
Which one you at, Charlie?
I'm at the Hampton.
Okay.
No, Rodney, I haven't seen any rain here yet.
Is Daisy? Are you here, or when is Daisy coming in?
He might be. I don't know. He's driving from Virginia over.
So Daisy, you are
in New York.
Yeah, he's up in New York. What's his first? I'm sorry, but what's Daisy's first name? Do you know?
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he's coming in tomorrow.
Oh, he's coming in tomorrow. All right.
I'm hoping to be there at least by 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay. Are we still all getting together to go out to dinner or something?
Yeah,
as far as I know.
I mean, I don't know. I came in this evening. Of course, I was up. I didn't sleep very well last night, and I crashed. By the time I got inside the room, I was wore out.
Cajun says he's staying at the Hampton also.
All right, cool.
Brad, when you getting there? Or he might be there already. I don't know.
I'm on the second floor.
Hey, since we got Dennis in here now, this Thursday is Dennis's birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Lentz.
And Daisy, honey, is in Chesapeake tonight? Chesapeake City, or?
Well, he's in Chesapeake tonight. His daughter lives down there, so his apiary is in New York, and then he's got some in Virginia as well.
Oh, Chesapeake, Virginia.
Yeah, so he lives in New York, but his daughter lives in Virginia.
All right, Chesapeake. Let's see. That's where the close to the coast, I think. It's above Hampton, I think. Hampton, Virginia, or Hampton Roads, I think.
Is anybody else staying at the Smokies, where the conference is actually at?
Lee just has to walk down.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't even know what floor I'm on or anything like that yet. So
So
Maybe just have to walk across.
Brad's leaving tomorrow too from down there.
Okay.
We can't afford it, Lee.
Brad's in Texas?
No, Louisiana. Kind of central.
This one?
Oh, hell, Paul. It wasn't much difference between staying there at the place where the conference is versus anywhere else if you reserve in time.
I think mine was $127 a night.
Well, you got weekend rates and during the week rates. Weekends always going to be higher.
When I booked this place here, it was the middle of the week nights were $95 a night. Now you got to remember, you got to include all them taxes and stuff in there.
That they add on.
Yeah, they add all that on there, and then Friday night and Saturday night is like $160 or $170 a night or something like that. I don't remember now.
Let's see. I can tell you right here. The Saturday night is $151, Friday night $135, Thursday $111, and then Wednesday's $98.
But they sell it to you as like an average rate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it just kind of it actually broke it down how much for each night.
Where did I say I was at?
Fox.
Black Fox Lodge.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's something, a Black Fox. Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
There you go, Chris. And when you bring you one of those little camper vans up there.
Hey, I thought about that. That was that RV rental place. You could have just parked right in the hotel parking lot.
Well, actually, I was looking at that on the site the other night because Renee was wanting to know were they pet friendly, if she could bring her little dog or not. Which I told her she'd have to be careful because Ricky keeps on wanting to steal her dog from her. But it said on there not pet friendly, and it said like no overnight RVs or camping or stuff like that.
We'll have to. Oh yeah, Ricky's child has been sick, so keep them in your thoughts. So
yeah, she was running pretty high fever, so keep
Ricky
Rourke, yeah. Rourke. It's Pigeon Forge, not Pigeon Ford. Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge.
Might be an autocorrect thing too. Me and Bob was talking about that a minute ago before the live.
Autocorrect.
Yeah, autocorrect can get you in trouble.
Pets can stay at Motel 6. You know, I honestly didn't even look too many places, different places. I was talking to Randy on the phone, and I said, "Where are you staying, Randy?" He said, "Oh, we're staying at the Black Fox Lodge." And then I looked at it, and when I called him, I guess the conference did have a block of rooms set up there at a special rate.
Yeah,
but they had already sold that whole block out, so I didn't get that rate, but I got the military discount. So
I think I called and reserved my room before the blocks got set up for this year because I reserved all the way back in March. And since I called and reserved so soon, they gave me a 20% discount for early booking.
Oh, okay.
What month did you do that in? June or July?
March.
You did that before the tickets went on sale to the thing.
I think it was like March the 24th. I reserved it.
I'll be interested in. I like to check out the room because I don't know. Cayman said he wasn't crazy about the price versus the quality of the room. I don't know. Whatever.
I was just lazy and didn't feel like driving down the road to get there in the mornings and then in the evening.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Well,
I know my friend Nancy that was on the chat.
Yeah, where are they?
I don't know. She's in town. She got in. And I don't know about the.
Did you get that email that I sent you, Charlie, the other night with the names?
Yeah, I got all that done, and I listed that in the description.
Yeah,
and all that. I went actually back and found their. Let me ask you the question. When I know Brian talked about this one time.
Holy moly! Hey, check this out. So I guess Ricky went and saw Spanky up there on his way to the mountains. And
yeah, That's the small truck that he's got loaded down. He's still got the other truck to finish loading too. He sent me that today.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Ricky lives probably maybe an hour from Spanky, something like that, hour and a half at the most.
That's crazy.
But anyway, on our chats and stuff, it says like Sawmill Charlie's Beef Farm, and then that's that new labeling thing that they come up where it says at Sawmill Charlie's Beef Farm. Doesn't that kind of like drive the people to your?
Hey, look who we got.
Like at the end of your live, it'll kind of give you every now and then suggested videos from that other channel.
Hey, Ian, good to see you.
They go to that person's channel and they have you mentioned in there, it'll refer them back to you. So it kind of helps both sides out with.
Yeah, but when I put in there at Kodiak Farms, whatever it is on your channel, it doesn't say actually Lee in there, I don't believe, on the end of it.
Hey, we need to take Ian to the Old Smoky Moonshine factory so we can do a sampler test.
Now, when you're typing in that description, if you type at and then start typing the channel name, it should finish. If you've already subbed to it, it should finish like writing it out for you as the suggested text.
Right.
I
was just trying to. You were telling me, what is it? It brings people towards me because it actually drops my link into their feed.
Like if they're watching my video, it can send them over to your video at the end of mine where it has like all the little suggested videos pop up. It can send them over to you and then from you to me and back and forth. It just helps both sides.
As long as you put it in the description.
Yeah.
Or you put it under the YouTube tag area.
Preferably on that part, like if you're mentioning somebody, to put it in the description. Your tags are more like if you saying, hey, it's a queen rearing video or a nuke building video or
what about like if you put in there Bob Benny or something like that?
All right. Y'all got to have the YouTube conversations when you're face to face. We got 1 hour. We got Ian Stepler in the chat and y'all talking about how to get people to your YouTube channels.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Now, let's get Ian. Come on, if you would like.
He said he lost his voice. He's lost his voice.
Need a little more eggnog and crack.
After 6 hours Saturday night, I was kind of hoarse the next 2 days.
So, how'd you like doing the live yourself?
I enjoyed it. I've been thinking about when I want to. Of course, this weekend we're not going to do anything, but next.
Oh, so you say?
Well, we'll do something at Hive Life, but as far as me actually dropping the link, I've been thinking about whether it be a Saturday or a Friday night, and I think it would be better for me. A lot of times I'm going out on Saturday night sometimes, so I think I'm going to start on Friday nights. I'm not going to worry about the other.
Well, you know what I really liked about that is everybody that's on our stream was over on your stream. And then we had new people that were on your stream that we had never talked to before.
Yeah,
well, right? I think that was because, what is it, Lee? That when I drop that link in, it goes out to the subs that are subbed to me.
Yeah.
Because I think
like when they come into your chat to talk, whether they in the chat section or in the live video, they're meeting me, Bob, they're meeting Mike, all the other people. So,
isn't there a way that I can, like tonight,
you hit the share button at the bottom of your YouTube feed. So when you're on YouTube, like you're watching our video on YouTube, when you hit the share button, it gives you the opportunity to share that to your community. And then this video is exposed to all the people that get your warnings.
Yeah, when you hit share, you can send it out to Facebook, whatever, or at the top you can click create post, and then it'll post to your community tab.
All right.
Okay, but I mean, what I'm asking, or I want to be able to say, hey, everybody, I'm going to be on the Bob and Lee show on Tuesday night.
Put it in your community chat.
Break it up. Yeah, but how do I do that?
You go to your page.
I was about to say, we'll show you tomorrow or Thursday.
Show me that tomorrow, the next day, whenever we get enough time to do all that.
We can do that.
I'm looking and let's try to help each other out.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to do it. Best way for sure. But hey, with pre-orders, I was a little bit disappointed. I'll be honest with you. The pre-orders, because of the time of year that the conference happens, right, in January, the very beginning of January, the pre-orders shut off right around Christmas, right? Or in that time frame. Some of them shut off, some of them didn't shut off, but it's kind of hard to plan out what you want, especially, I mean, not for me, it wouldn't really matter, but
I got that problem right now. I pulled the trigger that I wanted to buy a 5-frame queen excluders from Rossman Apiaries. I called them up after, the holiday and Christmas part, between Christmas and New York. Oh, we're closed. They're not open till tomorrow morning. They didn't even open up today, which is the day after the regular holiday. And I'm like, are you already on the road to Sevierville? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the.
It's like,
I mean, that's the thing.
If you're going to come to something like this, I would think you would have a skeleton crew taking, or sell a website. You can have a website. As far as taking.
Like I wanted to buy some Global Patty, right? But I didn't pre-order it because I didn't know how much I wanted, and based on my truck size, how much I wanted to get of Global Patties or boxes or anything, and now find out, well, that was only a pre-order item. You can't even buy them at the show.
Yeah, so I bought 10 pounds, and then I got to thinking about it here lately. I'm like, that might just be a really good idea to use them with Apobiologica and 15% pollen in it in my queen rearing program. That might just kickstart some stuff there. I don't know.
Talking about the pre-orders you could pick up early, but according to Cayman's email the other night video that he sent out, that you're going to be able to buy from the vendors Thursday night during the meet and greet also.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to buy some of those plastic JZBZ queen cell bars. They work very good.
I think Lee's got one of them.
Yeah.
Michael, hey.
Hey guys.
Hey Mike.
How was your ride down, Charlie?
It was real good. Real good.
Oh, I like those, Lee. So
it was 75 degrees, no rain, no weather, slightly overcast, and traffic was pretty much light from home all the way down.
That's fantastic.
For the most part.
Yeah, what a good ride.
Absolutely. You want to see? Ride. Y'all want to see how Lee's day was today? That was Lee's work.
I was hard at work all day.
Hey, Rodney.
Put it this way, I ran my phone battery completely dead and had to charge it again. I was so busy today.
You're going to have to get a pocket juice or something so you can keep your phone charged while you're at work.
That's what I'm charging back up right now.
Charging up the pocket juice. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to be going up there tomorrow.
Hey, Soap.
And, seeing everybody, meeting everybody for the first time. We've been talking for a year on the computer. Now we'll get to see each other all face to face. Except for Mike, who stayed home in the Great White North.
Sorry. I will be there next year. I will move mountains. Hey, Soaps. See, I got something here just for Lee because he always gives me crap about this. I pounded my own well ends. This is amazing water, but
you got the jar tonight? There you go.
That's clear water.
Banana. No. This is the pineapple banana rum with the honey smoother on it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dang. That's good.
So I thought, what the heck? Lee's always drinking mead. I'm going to have a shot of this one. Wishing you guys well and wish I was there. So, growing a comb over on his cheeks. Oh, I got to shave this beard off. I just can't handle it anymore.
I got to shave tonight myself.
I think Thursday Hive Life starts. It just starts at the meet and greet, right, in the evening.
Yeah. Let me see. Pull it up.
So yeah,
I went through the schedule already and picked out what I want to do, but
the meet and greet, the doors open at 5 o'clock, and you can do registration from 5 to 7:30, which I guess that's going in and getting your name tag and all that, and then they'll be closing the doors at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
and that's on Thursday.
Flower's right. Charlie looks awfully pretty there.
He's all clean shaved.
yeah.
Absolutely. Looking handsome there, guy.
You know, that was like last year. I went there and I forgot to get a haircut. And the hair was out like I was saying, hell, I did a couple cameos with Bruce, Miss Bees, and let's see, who else was it? Mike Berry. I looked at the video. I said, shoot, I look like Bozo the Clown.
Oh, yeah. You get the side things.
My hair is, it's curly and it puffs out, you know. So anyway.
It's starting to stick out now. I got to cut it after a while.
I shaved right here.
Yeah.
Oh, I got something for Charlie here.
I took and got a haircut a couple weeks ago and stuff, so I'm in good shape, and I'm excited. I really am. I'm really excited about the trade show. That's going to be huge, and all that.
Yep, it's going to be huge. I got tons of stuff to carry.
Yeah, look at Charlie now. From last year asking about starting a channel to now doing lives.
And shorts.
Yeah,
and shorts.
And Brian, he's outdone me and Bob already. He made it just over 6 hours on a single live.
6 hours, 2 minutes, and 59 seconds, my thing said. I should have waited.
We should only credit Charlie for 3 hours of that because we were on it for the whole 6 hours.
Well, hold on.
Just say, you know,
back up on that. Who was on it the whole 6 hours?
I was. You were.
Yeah.
That's only because y'all didn't share credentials.
A little early. You were getting tired.
Yeah, you were getting tired. Grandpa was getting tired.
It's 2 a.m. It's like 2 in the doggone morning. We're still talking beef.
Actually, we finally finished up about 2:07. You know, that was going off the air and whatever. But Brian from out there at Flower Street Farms, he hung with us till the end, and a couple others. And then I was really, you know, like y'all saying, the 3 different ladies that were in my other bee clubs that I belong to, they came in. They were quite impressed with what I guess the level of bee talk, you know, education wise and stuff. They really enjoyed that.
And we didn't immediately shoot down any thoughts that they had brought up, right? It wasn't like we were like, oh, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, that's a great idea. We think you're charging a little bit too little, but I think it's a great idea.
Well, after she thought, I don't know whether I'm pretty sure Nancy's probably in bed right now, you know, because of her long drive. She actually lives farther away than I do. But anyway, actually, I did talk to her later, and then after she had more of a clear mind, she will have. I think she'll come on and agree with all you that yes, you were right when it came to the price thing. But in her on her behalf, she's been shot down a lot of times on her local thing, you know, because she kind of thinks out of the box.
Hey, tell her to watch the show. If she ever seen the stupid ideas I come up with, she'll feel perfect.
She'll feel normal, huh?
You know, she had an idea there on how to sell queens to a new beekeeper without, you know, having issues. And you guys said it was a great idea, you and everybody else that was in the chat at the time.
Yeah, so
and that was really good. And she, you know, she really
she's like, can you repeat that? Y'all said it was a good idea?
Yeah, that's right. You know, you pumped her up good. That was good. You know, I'm glad to hear that. And then we had our other 2 ladies, Donna and Laura. And they, we talked about the Demery, and I like I say, I've been researching that, and they come up with, and I learned some stuff, you know, like they talked about putting honey supers above that top brood thing, which I had not heard of.
All right, so they had a guy for their beach chat, and it was the Philly. Crap, what's the name of the beach chat? Philly.
Oh, the Philly beekeepers.
Yeah, so
the Philadelphia beekeeper
guild, right?
Guild. Now that was you watched that? That was Keith Jardine.
Yeah, I watched that. It was like an hour and something.
Yeah,
video.
Yeah, I watched it too. I've seen him and I've been in his presentations live. Keith is actually from. He is a native of South Africa, and all that, and he lived there for years. Now he lives up in Pennsylvania, but yeah, he does that kind of stuff, and I guess the best way to explain it for myself is that I've listened to him, and for me, it's like
the way he does it is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, but also it was so much overwhelming information at the time when I was listening to him live that I could not absorb all that. And it just now, after doing the single hive brood chamber method and understanding that for a couple years, and then implementing that along with the Demery, then now I've finally got the grasp of how I'm going to do it. And I'll probably learn something even different when I do it. Do it myself. That's when I do it hands on. That's when I learn.
Well, the way he seems to do it is when he takes frames from his bottom box to his top, then he starts rotating the frames in the top box from left or from one side to the other every time.
Which I think that's a pretty good idea. It's an organizational skill. Where he knows over here they're empty, on this side they're full. So when he's working that box, we just grab the frames over here. We don't have to look at them. We just stick them in and stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna try that maybe.
I think I'm going to do a lot of these. I'm going to try to implement them on 5-frame boxes.
Yeah. Hey, William. And all that. So that was good on the chat we had. And then I've been actively trying to contact James McNally he's in Alberta, Canada, which is the western side of Canada.
I've been watching some of his videos too after we talked on the stream the other day. So it's pretty good videos over there too. He doesn't have that many subs. So if you haven't subbed to this guy, you're missing out. James McNally, a lot of woodworking type stuff.
Yeah, he's got some. He's going to have his grafting stands as silent auction products that you can bid on this weekend. And the videos that I've seen, they look really nice.
Oh, they have. I've seen some up close pictures. He's a craftsman.
He's a craftsman, that's for sure. And then he's running 78 hives and very he'll come out and help you out, tell you how he does it and all that. And he's also friends with Brad from he's a
Faith Apiaries.
Faith Apiaries up there in Canada, which he's several they're not states, whatever they call them. He's over there around Winnipeg, and he's
provinces,
and he's north of Ian, and he's went and seen him, and he had some good information about his hive lifter on both styles, and also his hive lifter is custom, which that's his concern about being top heavy and wobbly. That was always my concern. He actually got one that had a wider wheelbase put in.
That's what I was going to say. I agree with that wider wheelbase.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got some more questions and he's going to be at Hive Life and all that, and which is great. And I think overall my live stream was information-wise was very productive for everybody who was listening to it. There was a lot of good information covered. I got a lot of good techniques, and different things to think about on how to do things.
I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, I had a great time on the street.
Yeah,
for 8 hours.
Flowers is a great idea.
I'm gonna learn how to do more of that. More of the back end, the engineering thing, where I have Lee as my engineer, and then I one thing, Lee, it finally dawned on me the next day. I said, "Oh, I can have my laptop over here, so I can pin the link at the top and run it on that window, and then run the live, what's it called, yard stream or whatever,
StreamYard
on my big new monitor."
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Huh?
I didn't even think about that the other day.
Well, my laptop, I mean, it's like tonight, it took this laptop, it took it 15 minutes to finally load tonight, it seems like.
It must be an old style hard drive in it then.
Yeah, it was stupid of me. I had it crash on me here about a year ago or two. And the guy asked me my computer, and he said, "Do you want an SSD drive or a spin drive?" And I said, "Spin drive, because you can get your information off of it easier if it crashes." But
my laptop that crashed earlier this year, I had a SSD in it, and I was still able to get my information off. I had to go through manually, folder for folder in DOS and pull everything out, but I got it.
Mine got fried.
Is that right?
Hey, do not do what Brian at Castle Hive says.
I get a Mac. I can't. I don't know.
I got to give him heck every time he has something wrong with his webcam or something pop up. I just text him, darn Mac.
Yeah.
Nah, they good systems.
I don't know. It's just
I just grew up with Windows.
I did too, and it's just I've tried to get it's like a friend of mine was subbing to me, and I go on my Android, and there's the bell, and then tell it, to alert me on all things. So, and I can't find the bell on that Mac phone she's got. So I don't know. I can find the bell sometimes, but it doesn't give me the options.
Happy New Year, Fox Plus.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Hey.
So I don't know what I really don't know what I'm gonna buy when I go up there. I may not buy anything. Chances are slim to that. I don't think I'll buy a long hive.
What? You're gonna buy a short hive then?
Honestly, again, now I'm gonna have to go scan to see what is actually for sale there compared to what was just pre-order.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Hey, speaking of the long hives, I can't say much, but all I can tell you, I have top secret information on horizontal hives today.
Oh, they're not actually horizontal?
No, I can't tell you that.
Well, that depends on who
just what they are, who they are, and all that. Everybody have to wait for videos to find that information.
Well,
And
speaking of sellers here, Flower had a great idea. When you guys are out looking at all the vendors, take a whole boatload of videos and put them up on your channels.
I'm gonna, me, if I've got internet, I'll be doing lives from walking around in there.
If it's not raining tomorrow, I'm gonna do some intros, get that out of the way, and then Thursday night I want to.
Well, Wednesday night we're gonna have dinner, so we could do some stuff at Wednesday night dinner.
Yeah, and then Thursday I'll do some video. I'll do some stills, and probably take my phone and put some shorts up, because I don't know how. I mean, it was like last year. Jason from Bohemia Bees. He was a couple of different guys. Of course, they got iPhones. I don't know what they must be easy or something. But anyway, they posted videos like that night. And I'm like, how do you do that? I have to have editing software and sit there and play with it,
Yeah, I don't get that much into.
Well, like editing. If you do a live on your phone from YouTube, it has or if you do a recorded video on YouTube, you can actually edit stuff from there and then upload.
Well, I'm gonna shoot a lot of stuff. I brought 4 extra SD cards, and I'm going to do some stills, and I'll do some shorts, and I'll post the shorts right away. And all so.
But it's gonna be interesting. But as far as I'm gonna be in like a kid in a candy store with the stuff, but I just don't want to buy stuff to buy stuff. I mean, I really need some more deep boxes, I think, and if I can find them reasonably, I'll probably buy a bunch of them.
Last year they had 35 vendors, and I'm going to say that Miller Bee Supply was there, which is a North Carolina-based mid-level box company, and there was 2 or 3 other box companies. Now you got Appalachian Ivory, which those are the ones that have the wax dipping and all that stuff that Cayman had hooked up with. They're the ones who, if you're going to pick up if you have the pollen, the global pollen, that is where you go to pick that up at their stand. They're issuing that.
And Miller's Bee Supply?
No, at Appalachian Ivory.
Oh, okay. That's Cayman's booth, basically, his buddy.
I believe that's right by the back door for the loading zone.
Yeah, it's back here in the back someplace, yeah.
Yeah, Miss Lisa, Thursday night, they're going to do the meet and greet from 5 o'clock until 8 o'clock.
What time do you think we ought to get there? Because I'm thinking aligned. I mean,
well, I'm going to be there at 7. I got to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, Thursday morning, to start helping Ricky set up. Because the vendors, they're going in at 7 to set all their stuff up. That way, when everybody comes in for the meet and greet, it's ready to go.
So you're saying I got to get up early that day?
I don't know.
Well,
no, you don't.
I don't have to. This is the first pseudo vacation I've had in like 8 years. So, there went Spanky. Where'd you go, Spank? But man, we've been going 49 minutes already. Really? We've almost been an hour. Let me see. Nature's Image Farm is back by that booth too, and just listen for us. Yeah, we'll be up near the front. So it'll probably...
when you first walk in the main entrance out of the hallway, I think we're like the second or third booth in with horizontal bees, and then Dirt Rooster right next to that.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, when I get there Thursday night, I'm gonna shoot right to Miller or to what do you call it, Ralston Apiaries. See if I can get as many screens. If I can't get through to them tomorrow and have them get him the amount that I want, then I'll pick out whatever hopefully they'll have some, and I'll buy them all, whatever they got.
What are you trying to buy?
I'm buying 5 frame wooden bound queen excluders. I know you can buy the plastic ones and all that stuff, but I've got about 8 of those, and they work great with queen sales. I found out this year, they just they alleviate the stress on the bees, and they isolate the queen, and they relieve the stress of the beekeeper trying to sell bees.
Well, guys, you enjoy the trip there. Please, again, take lots of videos, throw them up. I got to go back and got another hour and a half of chat of snow here. So, but and if you guys haven't seen Williams skating on clear ice video, it's at the end.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Isn't that fun? Yeah, I miss that. We got the snow and the melt here so quick that the guys were out running their ice boats this year, and that's fun. But thanks for the skating. Appreciate that. God bless you guys. All stay safe.
All right.
Oh, my God. All right, Mike.
Bye-bye.
All right, so I got to share this because Brian just sent it to me. So let's see. This is it's called fried chicken.
If y'all see me like fly away, just know it's storming outside. It sounds like a tornado out there as hard as it is.
All right, so check this out. It's a video. There's a chicken up in the transformer. You see it?
Yeah, a chicken or a bird?
It's a chicken. And it hops.
Oh, that's real cool.
Yeah, fried chicken.
Instant fried. Oh, gosh.
Crispy.
Went to Smoky Mountain Distillery. Sean's already having fun.
I'll tell you one thing. Last night, I had about a 2-ounce bottle. The little sample bottles I did are 2 ounces, and I had about that much in a cup. I was feeling it after just that little bit.
Lightweight.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink very often.
Only every stream.
I ain't got none right now.
Where's Sean staying at? He obviously he's in town.
I think he said it up there, but I don't remember.
Mm.
Let me mute this. Sorry, that's my dinging you got going on. My sisters decided they wanted to have a chat. So yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be crazy. William, last year you were the only. Well, no, Charlie went, but you were one of the only ones that I knew that went to the Hive Life, and this year you're one of the only ones I know that's staying home.
He got Alzheimer's this year and kind of forgot something.
He didn't want to see
what
us.
happened is, so like as soon as the tickets were released, of course I got tickets or reserved them, but then I forgot to send my check in because Hollywood isn't up to date with current payment methods and wants a check. Well, I forgot to send it in, and so my ticket got canceled. And by the time I got around to ordering them again, they were all sold out.
So you couldn't. I mean, they didn't take credit card.
No, the only option was check, and that may have just been for the early bird deal. I'm not sure, but the only payment option was a check. And so, I mean, that's how it was last year too. I just forgot to send it in and got busy, changed jobs, this time of year or whatever.
So you're not traveling out of state all the time now?
Not anymore. No, I switched jobs, so I've got a little bit better work schedule. But
Nice Kit Kat.
Yeah, this is Dashy here.
He looks like
one of my wife's cats.
Oh, I'm a cat person. He's a nice looking cat.
This is a female Dashy, and then Quasi I like better, but I don't know where he went. He was just here a minute ago, and then we got another one. That's
Yep.
Sean said his son's 10 minutes away.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
But so I was really wanting to go, but I kind of made a little mistake there, and I guess I'll have to go.
I think from what Cayman said this year that it's gotten so big that it's beyond their capability of doing that anymore. You're going to probably have to go electronically with everything from the get-go.
I wish you would, because that would be a lot.
Well, don't they have ticket?
Convenient.
They do have ticket services that you tell them how many tickets you need, and they handle
by
all
the time
payment and everything.
By the time I bought mine this
one?
year, it was done by card.
Okay, so I bet they switched over. Yeah.
I think that was just some early bird stuff, but don't quote me.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was early bird for the first 30 days, I'll say, and then after that, it was I don't know, electronic of some sort.
Well, that's good. That if I'd have been paying attention, I could have just easily gotten on there and bought.
Well, that's like everybody said they were getting their bill for the pollen patties, and I got 3 different email addresses, and the one is brand new, which is the Sawmill Charlie bee farm, and I checked there, and sure enough, there it was. So I went right in there and hit PayPal and paid it and got my receipt and stuff. So
that's another thing I did wrong, I guess, per se. I've got an email that I use for companies and stuff. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to get a whole bunch of promotional deals all the time. I use that email to
filter spam tickets.
Yeah, just all the spam and stuff. You know what I mean? I used that email, and so I didn't get the emails like, hey, this is the deadline to send your check.
Something about a mic pop up on my thing.
About a mic?
Something about somebody unmuting a mic while I was on a phone call.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see it.
So I went on ahead and clicked out.
Let me see. Hey, Uncle, when are you planning to get the honey machine? He's gonna get it this week. We're gonna talk him into getting it. if they have one. They may or may not have one there, the honey stick machine.
Yeah. I see Fox Plus done its thing tonight.
Yeah, I see that. We're up to 121 watching right now. And, you know, I haven't seen the Filipino pesos come through yet. Usually there's some Filipino pesos get popped up there.
I want to know why.
I'm going to have to tell Callie we're just going to do a GoFundMe for a honey straw machine.
I want to know why Flower Street has like a question mark after the number of chickens that they have. Was that their chickens playing in the Transformers, or do they not know exactly how many chickens they have, or what?
My question is, how in the world did it get up there? I mean, I know they can jump a certain amount, you know.
Like, I've got 60 question mark chickens, but that's a bigger number, so I'm wondering what's going on there.
So was that a stream or something next to your house there that you were skating on?
Well, that was my parents' pond.
Oh, okay.
My parents live about 45 minutes away from where I'm at, kind of in the same kind of Tulsa area. They live north of Tulsa, out by Skytooth Lake, and that's their pond there. We went over there for, to celebrate Christmas, and kind of realized that the ice was barely thick enough to skate. Came back the next day, and that's where that footage was there at the end of my video.
Right.
It was a really short video that I made there while I was just treating some bees, and so I just tagged that on at the end. Figured Mike would enjoy it. I actually really just stuck that in there for Mike. But yeah, you can go watch that if you're interested.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I found that shorts are definitely the way to go as far as views, I guess. I don't know whether they help out. Well, they do bring up some subs. I did get quite a few subs out of the shorts and stuff, and I did also out of the live stream. And yes, it took about 2 or 3 days to get my hours.
Yeah, it'll take time to update. Basically, YouTube will go through and just verify it was legitimate hours, not a bot doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like 2 days later. It jumped up some. I was going to write down the original hours before I started the live stream to see what kind of hours I got. So then a day or two later, it finally jumped another 100 and some hours and all. So I'm sitting about 50%, halfway, almost 2,000 hours right now. But I like to say, with the live stream, I enjoyed it. I will tell everybody right tonight that January the 13th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will do my live. Start my second live and all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
If anybody in here ain't subbed to Charlie for some reason, I'll just drop the link in the comments there for.
We got 100. We just hit 150 viewers a second ago.
Yep.
Really? Cool.
Yeah. So.
Now, Tim, I don't think we know where we're going to eat at yet.
No, that's what I just said. If you not being up there right now, it's kind of hard to see something and be like, oh, let's go there.
Yeah. Do they have enough room or whatever at the time?
How many? Everybody? How many? I mean,
I don't know. I know it's me, you, and Lee. And
how about are your wives coming along, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's coming.
Okay, well then there's 2, 4, 5, 6 of us right now.
And then Ricky and his wife.
7,
so
8.
It'd be 8.
And then. Now, don't quote me. I'm not sure. I'm figuring they're coming, but I know Ricky's daughter's sick right now, so I don't know if maybe be at a hotel room or if she's going to be better by the end.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's good.
Yeah. There's a lot of sick. My son he got the creeping crud, as I call it, cat hawking and coughing and everything, and I put a mask on. If he happened to come into the house, so get the hell away from me.
Well. And then Thursday during the day, I don't know. We're probably going to go do something like maybe the Titanic Museum or something like that during the day. I kind of like to go there. They switched the stuff all the time that's in there, the artifacts. So I like to go in there.
Yeah, I just drove by that tonight.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool place. If you haven't been there before, it's worth the money to go at least once.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you're staying at, it's just north of your hotel when you're coming towards the convention center. It'll be on your left-hand side.
Do they switch artifacts with the one in Branson?
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, I think they do rotate them. And then I think the Titanic actually has like their museum like thing that travels around. So I think they probably just rotate them in there. Like 6 minutes from the event. Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, it's been 8 years. I mean, I've been here with my mom for 4 years. We haven't been anywhere. And, you know, we would do day trips, but we didn't really go on vacations and stuff like that before we moved here for a while. But now this would be the first time we've been away for any extended amount of time. So she's kind of excited about it, but she's not really into the beekeeping thing. So that doesn't excite her, you know, kind of like Renee is with Lee. It's like,
yeah,
go do your thing. Just leave me alone. I want to rest for a little while.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the email video thing that came and sent out last night or night before, I think it's Friday night. They're supposed to be doing the bluegrass concert.
Yeah, it's Friday at 8:30.
Yeah, basically when the event's over, everybody go eat, do whatever they're going to do, and then you can come back. And whether you got a ticket or not, you can have your spouse or your kids come in for the concert.
Yeah, I was there.
So, yeah, so that's.
So I could drive like 12 hours for the concert if somebody would marry me down there, right? Single,
well, hey, you know, if Ricky Rourke's wife can't come, he'll have an extra ticket. You could be, you could be his wife for the few days. Yeah,
Ricky plus one, huh?
Hey, well, Spanky would know. Did Ricky bring his wife up there when he came to see you, or he just sent you that picture?
Oh, he didn't come up here to see me because his kid's sick.
Oh, okay. So that'll be my luck. I'll get sick while I'm up there or something.
Oh, you know you're gonna get sick while you're up there. Sick with all that money burning a hole in your pocket.
Oh, I doubt it. I think I'm like Charlie in some aspects. I'll like overthink something before I buy it, you know, and then by the time I go to buy it, it'll probably be gone. You know, kind of like the pollen patties and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I do, like this here hive lifting thing, I've been studying that thing for about a year. And I wish that Boris, the guy that actually builds them, would come to the Hive Life show. But, and I think somebody like him that has a unit that really works nice, I think he can really introduce it to the United States.
Right.
And if he would promote that and stuff. So, but anyway, but I mean, yeah, I study things. I mean, it's, we all work hard for our money. We just don't want to throw it away.
Yeah, I've done that plenty on beekeeping stuff.
But I find that like the plastic JBZ queen grafting bars, they release the cups very easily. And if I made wooden ones, I got to use a putty knife in order to get them to release because the bees like to purplize them down or glue them down with wax or whatever.
Did you see the bars that Bob's got?
Yeah. You mean the ones with from Cell? Yeah, I looked at that. I mean,
they twist.
That's another set of. I've got some of that equipment. What's the non-grafting thing?
NICOT system.
NICOT system.
The non-grafting grafting.
Brad was picking on me about that in the comments earlier.
Good night, Hickory. We'll see you Thursday. We went to Woodside Buffet in Pigeon Forge. Tomorrow, going to Suzuki Chinese Buffet. That my son and fiance like. I like Chinese food. My wife is not such. She'll eat it, but she's not a huge fan of it.
I like it. Renee don't. I mean, she'll eat some of the vegetables, but
and not for me.
Yeah, Gatlinburg, I think. I mean, even Dollywood has a Christmas thing at Dollywood, I think. So I'm pretty sure everything's still open in the mountains.
Gatlinburg is, the town, as far as Dollywood, I believe it's pretty much shut up for the winter.
But yeah, so yeah, that's going to be it's going to be a fun trip, and we got a lot to do, right, Lee?
Yep.
No, hey, Dennis, my wife has her own card. She's got more available credit than I do, so we'll be burning her money up. Well, it's funny, it's her credit cards, but guess who makes the credit card bill?
Your money.
Yeah, my money pays for it. Don't you think otherwise than that? But it's gonna be a fun time.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice.
And hopefully, definitely, guys, if you see us there, because I don't know a lot of you by face, definitely come up and shake our hands and say hey, because we see you in the chat, but you haven't been on the stream or maybe once in a year,
And I'll be the first one guilty. I'll know your face if you've been on the chat, but a lot of times I can't remember your names. I have a hard time.
Well, that's how I am, because I've been a crane operator for 20 plus years. So I sit in a crane and I see people's face out the window, but I ain't gonna remember your name because half the time I don't get to talk to anybody.
If I don't have interaction with you quite often,
yep.
then it finally kicks in for me. But all I'm saying is don't get offended. I love you all dearly. I just can't remember that kind of stuff.
I might remember y'all's inmate numbers from our time from our time upstream there.
I'm the same way though, Charlie. If I'm not around you every day for like multiple days or weeks, I have trouble remembering names. And even if somebody
I can, it's no problem there because every week I'm seeing you.
Even if somebody comes up to me and tells me
he was there, I would, I'd know him right off the bat. No problem.
Now, if somebody tells me their name and then they come back by 10 minutes later, I'm going to remember the face, but I may forget the name.
That's me.
Nothing personal.
Hey, and my military disability is actually my hearing, right? So a lot of times somebody will say their name so fast I don't even catch it, but I just keep talking. Yeah. It's like, hey, hey, good, nice to meet you. And they'll come back and they'll be like, oh, you remember that guy that we met? Yeah, I remember, but I didn't catch his name or whatever, I'm not trying to be rude. I just can't. My hearing's not very good.
I have some hearing deficit too, and but the biggest thing is you can tell me your name and I can turn around 360 degrees in a minute, and I forget.
Charlie probably won't even know who I am when he goes by there. He'd be like, I know you from somewhere. I just don't know where.
Just tell him, hey, Chainsaw Charlie.
Well, with me, if it depends on how warm it is. I got a hoodie I got a new logo. It's got a big saw on the back of it.
You'll make him so angry he will remember.
I'm a walking billboard.
I was about to say, is that for Chainsaw Charlie?
No,
make him so angry he'll remember you.
Now, Cajun, I know it's Brian. It's Brian, right? I'm pretty sure.
Brad.
I know he'll be there someplace.
Bradley.
I'll recognize his face for sure.
I'm gonna. I'll be the guy with the black shirt with the Swarm Rustler logo on the front of it.
Hey, anybody?
Or the Apis Biologics shirt.
Anybody at Hive Life is going to recognize Brad because when he walks by.
See, we just got him back. We just started watching us again, and you just ruined it.
Sorry, Brad.
For like another 6 months, man.
You can slap me when we get there, Brad.
Yeah, I will recognize. Brad will be the guy with the pimp limp. That's what Larimore said.
Charlie will be the one dancing during the bluegrass show.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
I realized a little while after the Hive Life when I see him on the videos, I was like, I think I remember him from the conference because he was like one of two people that were dancing during the bluegrass show.
We were the only one dance. Yeah.
Let me see. Do what?
Lee don't have a booth.
Brad said he's going to be protesting my booth. Hey, Brad. Just
Hey, it's going to be hard to lift that slate up for that long.
He'll just smash you with it.
I never even thought about that one.
Just look for the car with the big stone wheels. Oh my gosh, too much fun. We're going to have so much fun, guys. It's going to be crazy.
It's just going to be great to meet everybody in real life.
I got you in the bag there, Sean. Talking about his wife's going to have the label on.
So how many bottles did you bottle up, Lee?
It was supposed to be 288, but I think
he drunk some of them.
I'm just guessing about 12 bottles short of that, or enough not to be able to fill 12 bottles.
Got thirsty.
Yeah, a little bit.
So he said,
and you got my bottle of, what is it, Tupelo honey or whatever?
Tallow
honey. Yep. I've got bottles of honey.
He's going to protest your booth too, Bob. So he's going to be protesting us both together.
I don't have my own booth, so you just have to randomly protest people. I'm just going to be in booths, at booths. So,
hey, is there just for a quick tech question, is there a way of finding out who your subscribers are for YouTube?
If their subscriptions are public, you can. Some of them, if they keep their subscription private, you can't tell if they're sub to you. But
where do you go to find that? You'll have to tell me that tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll have to be on your dashboard.
He's going to be giving them out in the parking lot, Cajun. You can wheel right up and grab one.
I was trying to find this video. I can't find it. It had this guy dancing on it, and I said that's going to be Charlie.
Yeah, Brad, it's going to be outside. Can't have alcohol inside the building.
So we're going to we'll be the guys out with the brown bags in the parking lot.
That'll get them feet a moving.
Yeah. Staggering.
You're going to be burning out, huh?
It's not just.
Bob's a floater.
Yeah, I am a floater. I've got 5 vendors that are going to have my product in it. So I'm going to kind of try to make a little bit of rounds. Of course, 2 of them are right side by side. So, so it'll be fun.
You didn't put one in the silent auction, did you?
No, I didn't.
You should have.
Honey.
Yeah, you should have.
Put some in there.
Yep, just because.
Hidden Hollows Honey, I'll have it. Hilco is having it. Bohemia Bees is going to have it.
Somebody else put theirs in there.
Dirt Rooster's going to have it. And we're going to have it also at Ricky's booth. So we're going to have it kind of all over the place. So it should be fun. Fun times, good times.
James,
as long as you don't drink it in public.
Food. It ain't drinking if you're eating.
I just need to sell 500 bottles. That's it. So we'll see how it goes there. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find that video. I don't know why I'm still even looking for it.
Which video?
It was a little short video that someone had posted on the Book of Faces that had this guy dancing.
Have you eaten all that candy, Bob?
I ate some tonight. No, we still got plenty left. I'm trying to pace myself. I'm trying to keep my diabetes in check, which I don't have diabetes, but I will.
Spread the love.
That's popcorn?
Nah. Butterfingers.
Butterfingers. Yeah, I can't find that.
Bob was talking about candy. I'm like, man, I gotta get myself a Butterfinger.
I've been sitting here eating old-fashioned root beer hard candies.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good.
They look like little barrels, do they?
No, his don't look like barrels.
It's like little hard candies, almost like barrels.
Yeah, but the original stuff, they look like little wooden barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find that thing.
Film it or it didn't happen.
Let's see. Yeah.
Well, that was like the guy I was sitting with that night last year. And I forgot to seek the guy out, and I didn't know him that well. It was Craig Branch from Sideliner Beekeeper. And him and his wife were sitting right there. And all that. I haven't seen any videos out of his channel for quite a while.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of stuff with his family. I know that, but
yeah, Paul, you must be getting the same storm I'm getting right now. It was getting rough here a minute ago.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of cameras this weekend rolling for sure.
Yeah, Sevierville ain't gonna know what's going on with all the cameras showing up.
It's almost, the funny thing is, Charlie, this will probably be the first time you go there and people are like, "Hey, it's Charlie," and you'll be like, "Do I know you?" They've just like seen you on a stream or on YouTube or something. And
Charlie, bring your pen for all the autographs.
Yeah, you be signing the autographs.
That's what I told Richard Knoll from Brittany, France.
You should just go by Sam's Club and buy you a big box of like popcorn, microwave popcorn, and just sign the outside of them.
Well, I did get 300 business cards to get out of everybody.
300? You did better than me. I only got 100 printed up.
I got 300. I got 300 business cards with my channel on there, and I've got a hat with my logo. The lady did it for me here, and I got a hoodie with the logo on the front of my, left side of my chest, and a bigger one with it. It has a YouTube. It has a hive, a regular Langstroth hive in white. It says subscribe across the top box, and the bottom box has got the YouTube logo. She did a pretty good job with it.
Hey, Hell Hive says he's wanting royalties. You better blur him out of any pictures you take.
Oh, he's going with the NIL, name, image, and likeness stuff. Hey, we'll just cut your face out and put somebody important there.
Put me there.
Yeah, I would say stick me in there.
There you go. You can do that.
If we want a picture of you, we'll come by the Waffle House, Paul.
Yeah, Lee, when you make your video, Lee, just put like a crude Photoshop of me just kind of in the background in certain places.
Exactly.
That way I'll feel like I was there.
Have little cameos pop up here and there, huh?
They're clearly, obviously added in, but
Well,
Photoshopped.
We're on here. I'm on YouTube 5 nights a week.
Yeah,
or at least 4.
I'll take some photos of like this one, and then some photos like this. That way you can shame booths you don't like and thumb up ones you like, and it'll be my fault. You're like, wow, that guy's so judgmental.
I would love to get Bob Binney on here at some time, but what I find is you see the same people making the same rotations. Like if we have somebody on here on Tuesday night, within a week or two, you're seeing them on another stream channel, and it's like, but like to try to. Luckily, we're one of the only people, I think us and Fred Dunn have had Mr. Ed on. I don't know of any other stream that's had Mr. Ed on their stream other than Fred and
I
us.
think offhand.
Well, that's why I've been turning everybody down, Bob. I don't want to go Hollywood. I'm trying to stick to my roots here, and everybody's trying to get on their streams, but I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
And we just try to keep things kind of, our team, our group of people that we just kind of.
I mean, the way I look at it, hey, I mean, we always put the link in there, so if anybody wants to join in, if they happen to stop by and want to click it, hey, come on.
And we would love for people to come on. Mr. Sam, he's like, he told me by the time we go live, he's already like winding down for the night. That's why he hadn't come in.
Well, and some nights it gets pretty crowded in here too. You'll hop on, and you got to be pretty tenacious to get a word in with some of the guests.
Look at
That's
Charlie's
not a negative thing. I'm just saying,
Who you pointing at?
It can be hard to get a word in. Bob talks the whole time,
I usually I'm sitting back eating popcorn and about half asleep.
Yeah, half the
And
time we
Bob's
got to
over
wake
there
Charlie
talking
up,
about it.
zooming him in when he's sleeping.
The thing of it is, last Saturday night we had to take and poke Bob there because he was like
My eyes were getting heavy there for a minute.
It was 2 a.m. What
Oh,
do y'all want out of me?
It could have been going for another 2 hours.
You got to remember, I'm a grandpa now. I got to take my naps.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we try to keep it laid back and lighthearted, and don't get too serious. I try not to drop, $15 words every 2 minutes. That you got to go Google to see what word was that. What are they talking about?
You talking about Earl?
I'm not talking about anybody.
You have to watch out for Spanky there, though.
Spanky, yeah, you get him wound up, man. And
hey, there's Jose.
Hey, Jose, is Jose going to be at? I don't think he's making it this year, is he? So
Jose, you coming to Hive Life?
See, Buzz has the idea. 12-hour live.
All you fellas going? Yeah, we're all going to Hive Life.
Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Sean Powder's idea that we needed to do a 24-hour live stream.
Yeah, I've done that before. They're not fun the next day. When
I
you're
looked
sleeping
at
off the
my
hangover.
analytics, and I had up to 40 some people, and that was good for I peaked up around 2 hours or so, and then after that it started declining.
Well, how many watch hours did you get out of that one video?
He had 43 consecutive watchers at one time. I keep track of things while we do lives.
I don't know. I jumped from 1,600 hours, 1,650 to I'm 1,990 some hours right now, which I thought I would get more than that.
Well, one video got you 300 watch hours in one night. So,
like I said, that's your first stream. So after you keep doing it a couple of weeks and everybody's learning, hey, every Friday or
when they say the watch, it said 300 some hours off to the right there. That's all I get out of that for 6 hours.
No, if somebody goes back and watches it tomorrow, the next day somebody finds.
Well, I had the one viewer here. I forget that he actually listened to it at work all day long for the 6 hours.
Well, keep in mind that most people are coming in and out or staying for 30 minutes or they're not watching the full thing. You'll see that in the rerun. That's why when it starts we get a little bit more rowdy, a few hours into the stream because I already know people aren't going to see it except for who's in there. So, yeah, that's the Fox Plus effect right there, that 136, 140 views right there.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, James McNally just dropped a video. I just got a notification. So, let's see.
Heck, I'm excited that people stick around for 1 minute and 40 seconds on my videos.
I'm happy if they make it through my intro.
Yeah.
Nah, Kylie, we can't do that today. We was actually only going to go an hour today because we got to get up and start driving at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. So,
Right.
We're getting ready to call it, guys. Went 30 minutes longer than we thought we were gonna. Actually, I don't need to go to bed. Lee needs to go to bed because he's the one that's got to disconnect his computer. So if y'all want, I can
unhook everything and load up.
I'll hang up. I can hang up for
6:30.
Rock Ridge just asked when's my next one, and it will be January. I'm going to do Friday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It'll be the 13th, and then after that it'll be, as far as I can tell, every Friday night, and it'll be from 8 to 10 like everybody else. I think that's enough for everybody.
So this month it'll be the 13th, the 20th, and the 27th.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm getting started, and learning how to do things, and Lee's helping me out, which is I greatly appreciate that.
My drive is 4 hours and 10 minutes for me. 251 miles.
I looked it up a minute ago. Let me find it here. 724 miles. No, hold on. That's the other route.
No, if Lee's got
the quickest route is 672 miles for me.
It's about 12 hours.
Yeah. No, if Lee's got to hop out, I'll just hang out. I mean, I know Lee's the one that's really got to go to pack his stuff up. Not so much me at this point, because my wife's already got all the suitcases packed. All I got to do is throw the swarm lure in the truck and make sure I got my GoPros and stuff and my hotel paperwork, and I'm ready to go.
Yep. Well, guys, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. Let y'all have fun the rest of the evening, and I'm gonna start unhooking stuff, and hopefully this rain will stop in a second. I can start loading up.
All right, Lee. Well, drive carefully, and
I'll see some of y'all tomorrow evening. Some of y'all Thursday.
Oh, you'll see me tomorrow for sure.
Yep.
I gotta see you, because if I don't see you, I ain't getting in. So I can't even see. I can't even piss Lee off at all. I'll be stuck out in the cold.
If he makes me mad, I'll have to scalp that ticket for him. It's about what, $320 ticket?
Was it $3? It wasn't $3. Oh, scalper rate maybe $320.
Well, Leah, you should hear what Bob said about you behind your back. I'll tell you.
He said I'll PM you the details for the payment.
Pretty rough stuff he was saying about you.
Thank you, Grammy. So, are we checking out?
No, I'll hang out for a little bit longer.
All right.
Y'all gonna hang out. Y'all have a
good
night.
Vince.
All right, I'll see you guys. You got my cell for YouTube for sure.
Yeah.
When you get in town, give me a buzz or whatever, text.
Sure.
And then we'll see what we're gonna do.
All right. Good night, y'all.
See you now. Good night.
So, yeah, I've been getting a ton of emails, which is great, on like different methods and stuff. Blaine sent me his information on that, on the book information from C.C. Miller. George Boger sent me the Demaray videos that you were talking about. So Phil sends me some emails and stuff. So it's pretty cool that how this community has grown over the last year, and share information. Everybody on this chat, I've got their phone numbers, and we talk occasionally. And
I tried to get back to you there, Bob, but
I was asleep.
Okay.
That's honest to God truth. I was asleep.
You called, and my computer guy had just dropped off his laptop, and I had to deal with him. And luckily, he was able to fix it. So,
let me see. Good night, y'all. See you Thursday. Look for the big white-haired hillbilly in Buckeye gear. All right, Randy. We'll see you, buddy. But yeah, so beekeeping right now, not much going on, right? So it's just this is the beekeeping thing right now.
Well, we have had a lot of good warm weather here this week, compared to the following week. And I'll have to say, I looked at my highs as far as flying, but I just never got into them. I didn't have time. And if it continues on, I'll go out there and kind of take a peek in there. It's when it's 60 degrees, it ain't gonna hurt them. I don't have any worries about feeding. I know that they've got plenty of food, and I think they'll take them right through springtime.
Grammy says she's still got 2 bedrooms open if anybody's going and needs a place.
Does Grammy live here, or she lives out?
She lives in Alabama, but she's going up to the show, and they rented a house.
House or something,
yeah. Yeah, rented the house.
Okay.
And so I mean, I'm excited. Gonna see how it all pans out. Hopefully, I've got a few t-shirts. Not many. I've got a couple people I'm gonna give one to while I'm up there. And see, another thing, I don't know. At the rate that this thing's growing, they're going to probably have. It's like turning into the beekeeping Comic-Con. I mean, it's like becoming huge. They're going to have to get like a whole, maybe a bigger place. At this rate.
Well, he came and did say if it was like 3,000 tickets sold, he'd have to find a bigger place. But the problem with that is you got to have the place, you got to have an airport for speakers to fly in if they're like Richard Knoll from Florida or France. You got to have the motels to support all those people.
Well, you got to remember, he artificially limits the size of it by closing down ticket sales.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he can do all that, but I mean, let's face it, he's making money on this deal, I mean,
but he can keep it small indefinitely.
Yeah, he could.
Right. Yeah, he could. I don't know. I mean, obviously, as you get bigger places, it's going to be more expensive and stuff, to rent places. And
well, the only problem I have with the whole thing is that he wants to have a speaker in a great big huge hall. The sound acoustics are not all that great. I'll tell you that right now from last year, unless they beat the sound system. And I really enjoy in 2019 in Knoxville, Tennessee, there was you might say a local, it was called the Honey Show, and it was a local beekeeping 2-day conference. I'll say a lot of it was there was 3 tracks: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. A lot of local guys were teaching different techniques and different educational aspects. They had multiple sessions going on at one time. And then that's where I learned how to graft, because Kenton Williams came in, who's a commercial queen breeder or queen grafter. He, sells thousands of queens. But the class was in a nice, it was no more bigger than, let's say, a normal schoolroom classroom. And you had 20, maybe 30 people in there. And everybody lined up in 2 lines, and we actually did real grafting right out of the frames. Now the larvae was not the correct age, but you learn and practice that technique of using that Chinese grafting tool in order to do it right. And that's what I really like, is those small breakout rooms that, teach technique. And then you're right there that you can hear the speaker. You can ask the questions directly to the speaker, and everybody kind of gets the best of it all. And you're not going to get that here at Hive Life. He's going to present, and that's pretty much it.
I don't think that's going to happen, because Cayman lives in Tennessee, so he won't want to travel to do it like that, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is that because of the size of the event, it's not that intimate training type of stuff.
Right.
And
well, that's what we're here for. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It's a different it's a different style. And
right.
Like EAS, Eastern Apicultural Society, they have something similar to that. It's 4 to 5 days long, and but the problem I have with that is they move it around every year. And this year, I went to New York to go. I was going to go to it, but the price was $35 for one person. Yeah, it was for a week, but then all these other things that they were going to do were extras, add-on prices and stuff. Heck, you probably would have spent $500-600 just in tickets, to do whatever the events were. And they're not very. If you're not a member, you can't come, number one. And then if you're not a member, they're not transparent to all the extra fees to the other extra events that you want to go to. Right. And then the motels, they were up there in Ithaca, New York, and they wanted $250 to $300 a night or more for one room. And I'm like, I am not paying that kind of money. And I said, that's to me, that Ithaca, New York is not a destination. It's not a Walt Disney World or wherever, you know. So, yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Will.
I was just saying, it seems like kind of the main pull to the Hive Life conference is the people seeing the YouTubers and also the trade show as much as it is.
Yeah, I was, last January, it was quite amazing to me that I told people, I said, do you realize what Kamen did? I said, he did not advertise in any trade magazines, which are two of them, ABJ and Bee Culture. And he did it all over the internet or YouTube. And which, you know, YouTube has always got bashed for putting out misinformation. You know, you got the guy there that's, you know, a 1-year beekeeper that he knows it all, you know, or something like that, and that kind of stuff. And somebody was talking here. I did not see the video where he was interviewed by Kim Fodham up there with Bee Culture, and he was trying to say, look, this is the future. This is how it's going to go. You know, the old guard, you're going to have to get used to it.
James made it to Atlanta.
Hey, James, come on in. Good to see you.
He's in Atlanta.
Oh, he's in Atlanta. Cool.
I'm sorry to
he's got
hear
a computer, right? Or a phone. So anyway, you know, he's done that. And then I think it's kind of proving to the beekeeping community, let's say the old guard in beekeeping community and the corporate beekeeping businesses out there that, hey, the new way to go for advertising, whatever, is the YouTube phenomenon.
Well, all right, let's think about this, right? So I'm in my bee yard, and let's say I run into an issue. I can either jump in my car and drive to my mentor, and he's only 3 miles away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can walk inside and get on my computer and search it on YouTube.
And not all clubs are equal either, by the way. I mean, some clubs are really good, and some are really good for some people, and, you know, not other people. Sometimes they're extremely targeted. You know what I mean? Like the club in my area seems like it would be really good for like really new beekeepers.
Most of them are.
The commercial guys around my area seem to keep to themselves. You know what I mean?
Well, they don't need to participate in a bee club, right?
Right. Well, they're not sharing any information either. You know what I mean? And so, like, when I got into bees,
they're not going to.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I consumed YouTube content for a couple years before I got bees, and the way I got bees is I was going to tear down a house for work, and in the pre-construction meeting they said, well, we got to get a beekeeper to get these bees out of the house, and then you guys can start. And I had been wanting bees, and I said, oh no, I can get them out, don't worry about it. They're like, oh, you know how to do that? Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I
went home and YouTubed it.
So I went home and a vacuum as close as I could remember to, you know, the one Ed uses, Mr. Ed down there in Louisiana, and I got bees and had bees, and so I didn't really want to go to like a beginner's class on, like, you know, putting together a box and, you know, all this, that, and the other, because I had spent like hundreds, maybe thousands of hours watching videos, you know what I mean? Because it was a subject that interests me. So if there wasn't people there willing to, you know, like, hey, this is how you expand, you know, those type of things, then what is there?
The other thing you can do is you could say, hey, I watched a video on that. I can go back and rewatch the same video again. And I can pause it and back it up and say, what did he just say? Okay, I get it now, you know.
There's certain videos, like there's a few like Michael Palmer videos and of course Bob Benny videos that I watch like once a year. Like I'll go back to that video. I'm like, I'm just gonna watch that again. And I do that every year. There's like 5 or 6 different videos.
Every year,
like an hour long.
Every year I do go back and I watch you know, things like, what should I be doing now? Getting ready for the spring to start up. I'll watch that stuff again just just to verify to myself that I'm on the right track, and that's what I want to do.
But something, I got a call this a couple of days ago. This lady wanted to order 2 nukes from me, and I put out it's not a new, I guess you call it a newsletter in my club, where I tell them what they should be doing this month in the bees. That was the first thing I did years ago, in order to educate people in my club. And now, because I have a channel, I'll say, go to my YouTube channel and watch this video so you can see what I'm talking about. And she didn't know I had a video. And hey, there's old Frank.
Hey, man, you got to take that poster down behind you, man. That's got to go.
A little light, Santa.
So, it's if you're going to be I'll put it to you this way. If you're going to be a good beekeeper, it's up to you to mine that information out any way it's best for you. That, and those are the ones who become good beekeepers. And then there are the other ones that are like, okay, I'm putting bees in a box, and yeah, I did that, or I think I did this, and then they wonder why their bees die. And it's like,
yeah, okay. We try to do a lot of that kind of discussion on here, the business end of it, as far as things we're doing to try to.
Now, I don't understand what it's still mostly backyard beekeepers, no business beekeeping.
You're talking about the clubs. The clubs are talking mostly. I
get it. I see what you're saying now.
But nothing from
even in my club, I'm on the 4th year of being a president of my club, and we have, there's always a subject for every month, and we're following the season. Okay, it's always going to be in this month. It's going to be prep your hives for spring, and this is what you need to be doing. You're reminding people, just like you going back to Bob Benny's videos and watching. And saying you need to do this, and then this month you need to be doing this, and this month look out for swarms, and all this, and then the next month it's about making sure you add honey supers on, but go out there twice a week to check those honey supers, because it might be on a heavy flow, and you might need to add 1 or maybe even 2 more honey supers, so you don't lose out on the honey and stuff. And I don't know. Like I say, I find there's some people that absorb all this information and really, try their best to become a good beekeeper. And then there's others that, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And some of them do, some of them don't. And then at the end of the year, whatever, the bees are gone. And they don't know why.
Well, yeah, I did the same thing William did. I watched probably thousands of hours, right, of videos before I had my first bees, and I think when I first got them, I thought I knew more than I actually knew, and so I learned the hard way, right? I took my lumps, and it is what it is, and I still take lumps every year. I take beat downs on certain things, like I really thought I would have more colonies than I do right now. Coming into this year, but it is what it is. You just do what you've got, and work with what you got and try to make it better every year.
Well, it's like when I first started out, it's like as soon as I'd get done with the bees and leave the bee yard, it's like afterwards I'd start remembering stuff and like, oh crap, you know what I mean? Like I should have done this, or right. I should have done that. And like when I did my first removal, and it was kind of dark and stuff, but like at first I grabbed a drone in the queen cage thinking like, oh, maybe that's the queen, you know what I mean? Like there's certain things like you do have to get that hands-on knowledge, you know what I mean? You got to get in there and do it. And I think that may be another kind of hindrance to some people, even if they get a mentor, if they just watch the whole time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I don't know. I feel like that's going to stunt your growth. Like you kind of got to get in there and do it to some extent. You know what I mean?
One thing that, I'm not throwing shade at anybody's channels. what I noticed is the people that were real popular that I like to watch. Hey, look who it is. Hey, well, James.
Hey.
We'll see how this internet goes at this hotel. I'm not sure it'll work.
It's doing pretty good. My hotel's doing all right.
Yeah, it looks good.
Man, what I don't quite understand your last statement, James.
Those aren't lessons. Those are, Bob had mentioned those. He takes some beat downs every year. Those are just lessons that you sometimes you got to make those lessons, and the hard ones are the ones that you remember.
Well, I'll tell you what. I watched a ton of videos when I started, and that's what really got me on the whole, beekeeping is local, because the people I was watching that would show you, hey, just do a 1-frame split and walk away. They'll make a queen, and that's awesome. But they don't tell you that, by the way, you got to make sure that main colony is staying strong enough and fight all those hive beetles that slime out your colonies, So you got to kind of take all of YouTube with a grain of salt,
Well, that's just like, not to beat him down, but Burns, what's the guy out in Illinois?
Certified Master Beekeeper, David Burns.
Master Beekeeper, EAS. And I watched his queen rearing thing, and I'm like, he said, now put honey on this side of the cell bar and pollen on this side. I says, wrong. You don't put honey over there. You put nectar, and it's open nectar.
Yeah, I was watching that video.
And I says, there was quite a few details that I will go into in my next several videos that I'm listening to him, and I'm like, you know what? You're setting these people up to fail. I mean, and he's a master beekeeper.
I assume he's going to be down at Hive Life.
Huh?
That's something
I assume he's going to be at Hive Life.
Sorry, Frank. I think I stepped on you. Go ahead.
I assume he's going to be at Hive Life.
I'm not sure if he is or not. I don't think he's on the schedule.
I thought I saw him on the schedule, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I know, but Papsy was supposed to be on. He's a guy that I've had at my club, and he's close. He's not a friend, but I met him quite often. And they said, no, we don't need you. So I don't know what the deal was there. But
hey, if you see him, let him know. Let him know what you think.
But that's something I was going to say. I've struggled with is I'm learning every day. I'll be the first one to say, you know what? I think I mentioned it on your live chat, Charlie. The more I learn, the more I know that there's so much more that I have to learn.
That's exactly right.
But the problem with some of these YouTube videos that are out there, and I struggle with it all the time, is do I comment or don't I? And I find myself I won't put a negative comment. So if I can't put a positive comment, I don't comment at all, and I just kind of skip over that video. And maybe I don't know whether that's right or wrong. Because maybe
I thought about commenting on that grafting video, and I'm like, no, To
be fair, he does say that it doesn't have to be all honey. It can be honey and nectar mix.
Yeah, he did come out and say that later and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it's not my place to.
And isn't he running?
Master Beekeeper, so
he's running finishers, right? So they're only staying in there for like 48 hours, and then he's moving them.
Yeah, he does it a different technique that I do. Totally different.
Yeah. There's a perfect question, Charlie. Like, once again, I'm in no way a professional master beekeeper. I'm a professional learn the hard way.
Well,
School of Hard Knocks.
Look at it this way. Every person I know that's an EAS master beekeeper, there's quite a few around where I live. And I'm like, you guys can't even keep your own bees alive.
Did you see
and I said, I'm a Sawmill Charlie farm boy, and I got 30 plus hives, and I'm keeping 90% of them all alive at least, to get them through the winter. You're always going to lose some.
I lost two hives last year.
What'd you say, Spank?
Greg Dunn says he'll be at booth 509.
Okay, cool.
I'd love for you to video just telling him about shaving off the sides of the frame.
Mm-hmm. And I learned that watching Ian's. I actually was listening to other drafters over a period of a year or two, and I watched Ian's, one of his, where he was pulling that frame up, and I stopped it and I looked at it. I said, aha, he's done the same thing. It's time for me to try that. And I ground them those shoulders off and made it tight. And then what that does is, in my mind, is that when you put the other two frames next to that frame and it's tighter, you've corrected the B space. Because if it's quarter of an inch or more, they're going to put webbing and comb in there. If it's less than that,
you got to think about what the B space is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be the typical B space that you see in between two combs, because there's no comb there.
That's exactly right. And you've got to correct that.
And that's
why is the manufacturing frames incorrectly.
Well, they're doing all the frames the same.
Yeah, but they're still incorrect. You know, you're going to get a lot of webbing, and the bees actually. When I did that this past year, I could see where, I guess because everything was tighter, they could access the food to make the jelly. And they really fill my, the cells up with royal jelly and stuff. So
the spacing is more for the bees to work back to back on two frames.
Yeah.
So whenever you have back to back and then this space in the middle, that's a lot more space than they should have.
That's exactly right. But do you find that written in any bee book? No. It's not no bee book. They don't tell you nothing about that.
I can see Charlie's going to be writing a book.
I've been
I told him to.
By different folks, I should be writing a book, but I'm
him
not.
Him and Mark Miller co-write one.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's just like James here. Now you're up to 78 hives, and it's like, like we talked on my chat, how do you manage that kind of stuff, being a single man beekeeper and things like that. And I'm a big fan of having a process or a technique or a system on how to do certain things. So I know I need to do A, B, C, D, E. And now I will get a result of this, and things like that. And not what I do is not what is going to work for everybody. But
Charlie, we could just co-author a book like the Lean Six Sigma process of beekeeping.
I don't know. It's just, it's.
I can see the sticky notes all over the wall already.
Right.
But I think me and James talked about this last week. That it's like you go up. I had a new beekeeper coming in, and he said he wanted to come over. I said sure. So I had two nukes there, and I already knew one nuke was queen right and one nuke was queenless. And I have inner covers and telly covers on the 5-frame nuke. I pulled the telly cover off on the queen right hive, and on top of the inner cover, close to the center hole, here's a group of bees, a pad of them, and they're just sitting there. They're looking like, well, what do you want, And they're calm and all that. And I asked the guy, I said, what do you see? He says, bees. I said, no, but how are they acting? They're calm. I says, right, now listen to them. Listen to the hive. Stick your ear down there. And he says that they're buzzing. I said, yeah, but it's a real low buzz, right? Yeah. I says, those 2 points, I says, I can guarantee about 90% that is a queen right hive, just the way they're acting and the way they sound. I said, all right, close it up. And we went to the queen less hive. I open it up, and there's the bees on top of the inner cover. Well, what did they do? They kind of flew up in the guy's face. and they were scurrying around on top of the inner cover like they were like a chicken with their head cut off. And I said, "What do you see?" "Well, they're nervous and they're jumping around and flying in your face." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Now listen to them." And they got this queenless, the queenless roar is what it is. It's this real high pitch, just a drone, a roaring sound. And I says, I'm 90% or more, 95%. There's no queen in that hive by their actions. I said, now that's something that you pick up over time when you're looking at a hive and stuff. And it's like for me, everybody, they all go around and they stick the smoker in the front door and give them a great big puff. I said, what are you doing that for?
To blow them up into top so when you take it off.
Exactly. It put, the smoke pushes them one way or the other. They're going to push them up top that way. And what do? They sit there and they go, and their buzzing goes louder because they're at alarm. And then, or let's say you want to look for a queen, you will never smoke a hive.
That's another thing that's a misconception is, everybody will go out, oh, you got to smoke the hive, I
never smoke hardly.
I got a smoker lit over there, and all it does is burn the straw up in it half the time, 3/4 of the time, unless it's a rowdy hive.
It depends on the time of the year.
Yeah. If the flow's on, you ain't got to worry about nothing.
Exactly. I wouldn't try to harvest honey without a smoker. Don't do that. I did that once. I won't do that again. But it depends on the weather. Is it a miserable day? You might need the smoker. Otherwise,
if it's raining and miserable, or if it's no nectar flow and it's in the fall or the dearth, they're pissed.
Right.
Or you just got mean bees.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I've had mean bees.
I'm sure I've had one that would blow into my face all the time, and I thought for sure that hive was queenless. Well, I went through that hive, and darn if I didn't find the queen. I said, I got myself a queen that needs to get her head chopped off. And put a new queen in. So I finally
just let me mark her. I can take care of that queen's head real quick. Have you done that, James? Have you decapitated a queen with the one-handed queen catcher?
I think everybody who's marked a queen has done that. I might not have decapitated the head, but it's a whole lot harder for them to see when it's covered in paint.
Yeah, I've done that to the point to where I just stop marking them. I'm like, I just open it up. Oh, there's eggs. There's a queen.
That's right. Well, see, that's a management technique. If you see all 3 stages of brood, that's as far as you need to go.
I mark my queens not so much so that I can find them. I can find the queens relatively quickly. I mark my queens to help me to ensure that if I didn't have one swarm or they didn't kill one or something. I mark my queens for that reason. I don't really mark my queens to try and find them. I don't really think that's an issue. I think that's the other problem I think they try to teach a lot of beekeepers is, find the queen. Don't look for the queen. Look for the bee that's different, and it'll pop right out. Everybody spends so much time trying to look at each and every bee to find the queen, and if you just look for the one that's different, it's like finding Waldo all the time, right? They pop out a whole lot quicker.
Look for the one they're getting out of the way for.
She's always going to be faster. She's going to be like a bull in a china shop. She's going to push the other ones out of the way. But once again,
and that's the biggest problem I have is like with them black queens. They blend in with that black comb, and it's like they put a cloaking device on them. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I said they must be related to Cleons.
I've got a few of those tiger striped queens.
They're hard to find.
Difficult to find.
Yeah.
For me.
I tell you, I seen a queen a guy had. I think it came from either California or Hawaii, and it was the most golden orange. I mean, it was like almost like a neon orange. It just stood out like, here I am, without no markings at all. I couldn't believe the color on that queen. That was way back when, but
those are a lot easier to identify.
Father Time, ladies and gentlemen. Father Time has joined the stream.
I saw Charlie had shaved his off, so I had to balance it out, This is the old Charlie look.
But But anyway, I mean that's some of the stuff that you really can't learn unless you got, it's just time.
Well, and that's what everybody has to understand. That's one thing I learned probably 3 years ago, knowing that I wanted to expand. Everybody's always worried about having queens. I bet you I've always got 15 or 20 queens in a queen castle ready to go. If I find a hive is let's say you got a bad queen, I don't even think twice. Pinch her off, come back, next day, give them 24 hours, 48 hours, go back, introduce a new queen. Hive is, problem solved.
But that's the difference, and that's what in 2019, when I came back home, and then I started, learning to pick the right larvae and all that kind of stuff, to make my own queens. When I was able enough to grasp that, and then like you say, I got 10 out of 20 queens or whatever it was at the time, maybe 15. I did pretty good right off the bat, and grafting, an acceptance rate. But like you said, once you get that level or grafting and you have multiple, mating boxes with queens in them, your attitude changes. It's like, hey, I don't have to buy at that time a $30 or $35 queen or a $25 queen. I already got them made for free.
So what do you do with these queens that you got stocked up that you don't have any use for after a while? You just
you put them in mating boxes, and if you don't have any use for them, you sell them.
Well, or you always have use for them. Rob from the rich to put in a weak hive. I mean, I do that all the time. I'll drop them in there. I'll take the frame of cap brood out of there. I'll drop it in another hive. I'll give her another one just to kind of keep that cycle going. And in all honesty, at the end of the year last year, I think I had 15 queens. Well, that became my swarmlet, right? I put that in the alcohol and crushed them all up. And
was that queens that were failing?
No, those were all my queens are all a year old or less actually right now. So I won't run them any more than 2 years.
Right, so, that's what I found.
Pinch them off, because by the time you realize that she's not laying to where you want her to, you've already lost 6 weeks. And up here in Alberta, where I'm at, is I don't have 6 weeks.
That's half your season.
Right, I can't recover from that. So I just 2 years, get rid of them, drop a new one in there, and away you go.
Dennis said, "Are you banking them? If so, how long do you keep them?"
Oh, there's a good question. 2 weeks. So I'll run them through every 2 weeks, but I keep a graft going all the time. So I've got a graft in there just about all the time.
I think now, Dennis, make sure you understand this. Banking and James is putting in a queen castle, which that is like 3 mini nukes in one box.
Correct.
So she's not in a cage. She is on 2, maybe 3 frames, and she's laying as an individual small hive.
Correct.
So
that way she's ready to go at the moment's notice, I guess.
She is. She's a laying queen.
Yeah, I mean, when you pick the frame up, she's been laying, and that's what you want. Now, in banking, what James is explaining there is that she can only stay in a cage and be fed by the bees around her on the outside of the cage for 2 weeks. Because after, I presume she's mated at that time, correct, James?
She would be mated, yep.
She would be mated. And after that, if she doesn't use her ovaries and start laying, it's hard for her to start up for some reason. I don't know why.
And it'll take her 6 weeks before she starts to get back up, if she gets back up to where.
If she gets back up, and I mean, I heard this from other queen breeders and stuff. And I've never actually banked any queens and stuff.
I did last
year. So how are you mating them and so you can bank them?
In a basically in a mini mating nuke, or like Charlie was saying. So I have some deep frames that I have divided up into 2 frame nuke boxes, and yeah, they just sit in there and away they go.
If you look at some of my videos, Frank, where I have one there where I'm installing a virgin queen into a mini. It's not a mini. It's a 2-frame mating nuke that I got the same idea from Barnyard Bees.
Like I got.
And I don't know. Some days I feel like I should have made them 3 frames, but then I get to thinking about, well, if you make them 3 frames, you might as well buy a 5-frame box and stick a divider in there, or stick a piece of foam insulation that's wrapped so they don't eat it. And then you're not buying extra equipment and spending all this extra money. But anyway,
so they're going right from being a cell to hatching to the mating nuke, from the mating nuke back to the cell. What is it called?
The progression is this: you take
and then from there they're squished or used.
Correct.
You graft, you get a cell, you put it in the incubator. At least that's what I do. They stay in the incubator for 5 days. I've got a day and a half after the 5 days in the incubator to put that cell in a 2-frame mating box that has bees in it. And it might have some cat brood. And I'll put it I'll squish it into the wax next to the cat brood. So if it gets a little cold at night, they'll huddle around the queen cell and the cat brood to keep it all warm. Within a day and a half, she will hatch. She'll stay in that box for about a week. Her wings will harden. Her exoskeleton will harden. And in the meantime, her ovaries and stuff will develop so she can get mated. And then she'll fly out on her own, get mated. It might take a day. It might take 2 or 3 trips of getting mated. She'll come back. And then within a day or two, she'll start laying. And as time progresses, she'll get even better at it. And then
she goes to the bank.
No, and then you just kind of leave her there I leave her in there for maybe a month or 2 or 3 weeks.
And you see, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to take this year, I'm going to take a page from Ian. Now what I've done is I've made a whole pile of 6-frame boxes that fit on my pallets. So there's three nukes, if you will. And I'm just going to let them sit in those nukes. I'll rob from Peter to pay Paul out of those nukes. And then
what you're saying is, though, when they get filled up with brood, you're going to pull brood as resources, put another empty in there, and she can keep laying and she won't swarm.
Correct.
See, that is called equalization, Frank. And that's what I do in a 10-frame box where my honey hives don't swarm. Because
you're using resource boxes basically as your nukes, just to constantly feed what you need where you need it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I did this year too. So I started with 2 framers, and if I didn't have any room in any 10 frames or didn't need a queen in one of my 10-frame colonies, then when they built up, I would graduate them to a 5-framer and let them build up there. And then once they got to a 5-frame and they built that out, I would stack another 5 on it and let them build that out. And then once they were strong in there, I'd move them to a single 10 and get them ready for winter.
The main good part of all that is when you let them build. Now he's also saying build wax too. And they will do that so much more efficiently in a 5-frame box because you have condensed them, the worker bees, with that queen around 5 frames. That's all they have to focus on. And once they get that done and you put the box up top, naturally, it's a rectangular tree. They go up naturally and they focus on those next 5 frames after foundation.
Well, and the other thing you could do too, Bob, is when you put that second box on the top, if it's a nuke box, so pull that off, make sure you, and it doesn't matter which one your queen's in, make sure you've got eggs and brood or larvae, I should say, in each of them. Split it. You now made your a walkaway split, if you would. I've never had a lot of luck with those. You
come in early spring. I've sold the queens, and I want to get them, and I'm going down, and I sold the queen, like say a nuke, and I had bees left over because it was 5 over 5 because they went to winter that way where I live. And by the time I got back from Georgia, which was 3 days, they had queen cells in there.
Have you guys ever heard of OTS?
Yeah, that was. I met Mel here. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Brad swears by that. I tried it last year. I didn't have good luck, but I think
I looked at it and try. I just
what is OTS?
So
on
basically,
the spot,
on the spot. So what he will do is, rather than trying to graft, he'll take that frame, and this is the concept that I didn't get last year. So I had to go back and, well, once again, I went back and watched Brad's videos 2 or 3 times over. And what he'll do is he'll find that larva that is just hatched, and he'll put his hive tool in, and he pulls the wax and everything away from the bottom. So basically what he's doing is he's taking that cell and he's taking the bottom away out of it. So the bees will automatically make that larva, that 24-hour-old larva, into a queen larva, because they have all that room underneath them. And I missed that concept last year. I tried it a few times, and I didn't quite understand as to what he was doing. I'm going to try that again because, obviously, I mean, I want to double in size again this year. So,
what's the double? What are you coming from now, James?
78.
Oh, yeah, you got lots to play with.
I started the year with 15. I started the year
last year
with 15 hives, and I grew it to 78. I put 78 in the barn, here in October. So
I grew
from 4 to 11.
I went from 12 to 60 at the height of the summer, and then
it's a lot of work.
I reduced down, but I sold nukes and reduced down, and I sold a lot of those queens. So then I was merging them back down.
See, I have I could sell all the queens that I could possibly get. So that's part of the reason I'm always going to, because I'm 5.5 hours from Edmonton, which is the closest place that anybody up there can get queens. So I could sell every queen I could make, but as I mentioned on Charlie's chat there the other night, I've got a couple breeder queens. So I went down and I picked those up from California at $1,200 a bee, and they're
just $1,200.
You know what? I don't regret it at all. Not once. I don't regret it.
As long as you can keep them alive, and introduce them right. That's. Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, it's very special on how to do all that.
You've got to take the time. Yep. You don't want to ball that one. But and the reason I don't regret it is my bees, they're super, super calm. They produce lots of honey. They're the Carnolian breed. So I mean, they don't go into winter with a big cluster, but they don't need it. So like I say, it's going to be very interesting to see, because this is the first year that I really went hard on trying to grow the bees. So the proof is going to be in the pudding here in April.
Well, so James, did you grow from your own stock, or did you purchase some packages to help boost those numbers? Or
no? So I got those breeder queens 2 years ago, and the ones that made it through last winter is the genetics that I used going forward. So
everything came out of your own yard then.
Most of them have come out of
12. You went from 12 to 78 just from those 12,
15. I went from 15 to 78 from those ones. Yep. And actually, 2 of those queens, I grafted everything from only 2 of those queens. And there was a bunch of other things that went into it, right? So as I'd mentioned, genetics, calm bees, hygienic bees, ones that produced lots of larvae, had good laying patterns. I even looked at the bees themselves. What's the wing structure like? The one thing that I haven't got a lot of data on, and I'm still tracking that, is how long does that queen lay for? Is she still laying a good pattern after 2 years? And unfortunately, these are the things that just take a little bit of time. But Brad laughed at me because he was wondering. I do a lot of data.
How do you collect that data I mean, are you just going out there collecting data one day, or are you doing this as you're doing other work?
I do it as I do other work. Now, those queens, those 2 that I grafted from, I go into those hives with the sole purpose of checking. Where are they? What, every time I go in there, it's almost like a diary, right? Every time I go in there, what does the brood pattern look like? What are the bees doing? How is she acting? Is she getting all of the frames, or is she skipping frames? All of this comes into play when I was trying to select my genetics of which I wanted to go forward with.
And you're in Canada, correct?
I'm in Alberta, yeah.
Okay, I've got a question for you about a Canadian company. We talked about it last night, I believe, on it's called Feed Bee Pollen Sub.
I'd never heard
it's a Canadian company. Dancing Bee carries them.
Huh. I use all global patties. I'll be honest. So global patties is they're made in Red Deer. They're a hop, skip, and a jump for me. So they're about 6 hours from where I live. I can literally jump in the truck. Everybody laughs because same thing when I came down here driving from Atlanta up to Saraville. Everybody's like, "Well, you're spending so much time driving. It's 3.5 hours." I'm 5 hours from anywhere. I mean, we would drive out. I'd drive out to pick up pollen patties for a weekend and do it, all the way out and all the way back in a day. So,
well, I was buying sugar at the local store in the big 25-pound bags, and one of the guys in here that's in the chat, Dennis Lentz, told me, "Oh, why aren't you just coming up here and buying up 5-gallon pails of sucrose from Domino's Sugar?" So after that, I just started driving. It's an hour and a half each way, but
away you go.
But the sucrose, because it's so thick, I can split one 5-gallon pail into 10 gallons of 1-to-1.
Yep.
For $10 a bucket.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap. See, I don't have that luxury up there. I buy sugar from Costco by the pallet. So all in 25-pound bags. But one thing I am going to do, so I shoot IPSC, handgun shooting. So
I'm hearing music. There you go. Thank you.
I was going to say the International Practicing Shooting Confederation. So our sugar plant is down by Lethbridge, actually in Tabor. So I'm going to, when I go down there, I'm just going to pick up a bulk bag of sugar, and that should do me for the spring, and take the trailer maybe, and that'll do me one for the spring, one for the fall.
Is the syrup cheaper, like Bob does?
Oh, sir. Well, I don't know. Different plants are going to do it differently, but this plant, if I'm buying I'm basically getting 10 gallons, $1 a gallon for 1-to-1.
Problem for me would be the weight to haul it back.
Right.
That's what would get me. So I could haul a whole lot of sugar without that liquid, or without the weight of the liquid.
The water weight in it, yeah. So here a 25-pound bag of sugar is $14 US. So, and that only does one 5-gallon pail of 1-to-1, where I'm getting 2 5-gallon pails for $10.
There you go.
So it works out better. I mean, I got to pay the gas, but it's a nice little drive,
Yep.
Get to stop and see Dennis and some other beekeepers along the way. And I always bring some back for my mentor down the road. He's an older guy, and he always buys some off me, So
perfect.
It helps out, works out good.
Well, I still think when everybody works together, everybody wins.
Yeah, I think so too. It's the knowledge, and we were talking about the YouTube and bee clubs and stuff like that, but I like the YouTube videos because, like you said, and I watched that video 3 times if I had to,
Yep.
and you can't do that. Someone would get mad if I called Charlie 3 times saying, "Charlie, what about this?" And then I called him again next week and said, "Hey, Charlie, remember we had that conversation? Can you remind me?" And then call him back again. "Hey, can you remind me?" He'd be like, "Bob, watch the damn video. Why are you calling me?"
Or write it
You got to call him on a live chat, Bob, right? So you can record it.
That's it. Record it. But I mean, and I do have a somewhat of a mentee that is like that. I mean, we'll have the discussions. And, you know, really, I've only been beekeeping about 6 months longer than him. The difference is that I spend the time and invest the time to watch videos and learn, where he just wants the answer. You know, he doesn't want to really know. He just wants the answer right then.
But the problem
just
is
has your number.
He won't remember that answer.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And that's why I say you remember the lessons that you've learned the hard way.
Yep.
You know, and any, I don't care who you are, any good beekeeper out there, and I'm going to throw my hand up first. I only remember the lessons that I failed on, right? It's not really a fail. It's just, it shows you that you didn't do it right. Go back to the drawing board and learn how to do it properly.
Well, like this guy, I had to explain to him in, I think it was February, I was going through my colonies and pulling off excess honey. It was like the end of February, pulling off the excess honey to give her room to start brooding out as much as she could. And he's like, "Why are you pulling honey now?" And he saw me, I was extracting the honey out, and I did a little video. And he's like, "Why are you pulling that out now?" Because she needs room to lay. And it wasn't, I swear to you, it was not 3 weeks later. He was calling me, "Hey, can you stop by my house? I got a problem with my colony. I think they went queenless."
There you go.
And he's got a long hive. And we open up the long hive. He's got 14 frames of capped honey and no brood. I'm like, well, no wonder she didn't hang around. There's nowhere for her to work.
She's plugged out. Yeah.
So
here, I'll tell you the lessons that you learn the hard way. Here's a lesson that I learned the real
Number
hard
one.
way. Well, this was a doozy. So I was about halfway through my extraction with my 12 frame extractor. And I got a buddy come by and he's like, "I've got this damn canola honey," he said, "that is solidified in there. My spinner won't spin it out. Let's see if yours will." All right. So I stopped what I was doing. We put his 10 frames in there and a couple of mine, and we spun the crap out of that thing forever and a day. Guess what? I got very, very little out. But what that did was it seeded all of my honey afterwards.
Right.
So now all of a sudden I had all this crystallized honey. And if you watch my videos, I had to go back and build a warming cabinet now, because up until that point, my honey was pristine. In fact, I brought some down for the honey show here this weekend. But up until that point, it was absolutely pristine. But I didn't put 2 and 2 together, that little bit of crystallized honey in the middle of what I was trying to extract, all it did is it seeded the rest of it.
Right.
So,
now, once you warm it, does that break the crystallization factor and you'll never do that again?
So you got to be very, very careful how hard you warm it. So and I've looked everywhere. I can't find anything on this one too. This is where I talked to one of my mentors, Brad, on it. So there's a level at which I'm not sure what you guys have down here in the States, but there's a level at which the Canadian Food Inspection Agency will consider it no longer to be raw honey.
Pasteurized.
Right. So anything above 45 degrees is what the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. So you've got to keep it under that 45 degrees.
Now that's what, 140 Fahrenheit?
Yeah, that was Celsius. So I'd have to convert it there for you.
We're America. We don't know this stuff.
Come on, Sam.
I was driving
113,
and I'm smoking down
113
5 here, and I'm like, "Hey, I am smoking on it. This is way faster than 65 kilometers an hour. I'm doing 65 miles an hour. It's like, I like it." But no, so you got to be very, very careful. So what you end up doing is you end up you warm it up very, very slowly, and you check it lots. So but that's actually the stuff that I wouldn't sell to my customers that are buying the raw honey. That's the stuff that we worked with the meadery and the Haskellberry farm.
It's food grade now. Cooking honey.
No, not cooking honey, but yes, it actually is. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I just marked it out very, very clearly because I don't want to do that to my customers. So
right, where they put it in there, you got your squeeze bottle and they get it and it's solid. in a few weeks.
The Haskell with the Haskell berries, they have to pasteurize that anyways. So it's
why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because that is required in Canada by the Food Inspection Agency. If you're going to sell it as a syrup or a jam, it must be pasteurized.
So it's a Haskellberry.
A Haskell. So it's a cross between a Saskatoon and a I think it's a is it a raspberry?
How do you spell it?
Haskap, I do believe.
And how would you know you had that kind of honey? Just by the season, taste, flavor?
Because when I opened the pail up, it was solid. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right.
It's called a fly honeysuckle.
Oh, there you go.
But Haskellberry. Let me see. I'll show a picture of it.
They're extremely potent with antioxidants and stuff like that.
It looks almost like a blueberry. Well, that didn't get very large, did it?
But they must have something on the prairie that you're worried about then.
No. It's just it's kind of like milk, right? I can tell you a story about that too. I'm a farm boy, born and raised on the farm. My aunt would not, when this first pasteurization of milk came out. I'm going to the store, my bees in a building next year. What do you keep your CO2? Oh, Frank, you're putting me on the spot here. So that's a bit of a, how do I put it? That's a bit of a very sore spot right now as far as CO2. I'm not going to get into what I do in there with the CO2, but I will say there's a reason I made a very specific ventilation system for my bee barn, and I made a very specific electronic locking system for my bee barn too. So I'll just kind of leave it at that for now, because that's a little bit of a controversial thing.
Do you have a video?
Door, do not enter.
It actually locks. There's a magnetic lock on it, so read into it what you will there.
You got to pay a quarter to get in.
Pay a quarter to get in?
Yeah. But anyways, my aunt wouldn't drink this milk. So born and raised on a farm, I've been drinking farm milk for as long as I can remember. You know what? I'm okay.
Right.
But anyways, my uncle, he was quite the character. So he loaded up their milk cow. And I can remember I was only like about 8 or 10 at the time. He says, come on, jumped into the truck. We drove into town. We sat at the coffee shop. We had a couple cups of coffee and some pancakes, and we drove home and unloaded the cow. And my uncle went in and told my aunt, well, what'd you do with Bessie? Took her to town and got pasteurized. She drank the milk forever after that.
You pasteurized. She thought the cow was pasteurized, not the milk.
So then it was good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that they're worrying about up there. I think it's just a government requirement.
Yeah, we got to love those when the people that don't know anything about what you're doing are telling you what you need to do. Yep.
Well, we still have the same thing up there, with raw honey. There's all sorts of benefits with raw honey, but there's some people that you will never convince them to, unless it's pasteurized honey, they won't eat it. Forget it.
And you're still not allowed to import from the United States bees and stuff, right?
We cannot. No. So we can only bring up queens from the States, and we have to have the genetic testing to show that there's no Africanization in those bees. That's the only thing we can bring up is queens.
I don't think Africanized bees like cold.
Can we get your queens and nukes and all that stuff yet, or no?
Yeah, I can ship them south. Yeah, we can ship things south. You can't ship it north, though.
Funny how it works that way.
Government.
That's the fair trade agreement.
There's another.
Fair in one way.
These guys are putting me on the spot on all of this stuff tonight. So then there's the whole discussion around mites and disease control and biosecurity and.
Ian came on one night and I said, "Do you think the bees?" He's 20 miles north of the U.S. border, right?
Yep.
So I told him, so do you think that the bees on the U.S. side know where the border line is? Or do they just fly across and intermingle with each other anyway? Yeah. They stop and turn around, right? So.
Yeah, it's bit of controversy there, I guess.
Wake up, Charlie.
If you told me the U.S. had an electrified net up on the border, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I can tell you is none of my bees are making it to the border. I'm far too far north.
Well, I mean, so is he, but you would have to think that people close to the border, and those bees are wild bees, right? The feral bees are intermingling, which means that as they move up, they're still intermingling everybody. So I don't know.
I'm very, very interested to see what my mite count is going to be coming out of my bee barn this year. So,
are you not testing them in the barn like that other guy?
No, I don't touch my bees when they go in there. But the only thing I'd ever do is if I absolutely had to, maybe I'd stick a feeder in the entrance. But yeah, the less I can go in there and disturb them, the better and the happier I am.
Yeah, he was doing a YouTube last night about yellow. He has red lights, and he's trying to do it without disturbing them and checking for mites and treating. And I'm like, wow.
Well, I've got red lights in my shed, so if I have to go in there and look at, if I have to adjust the temperatures or replace the batteries and the sensors or something, I've got red lights for doing that. But I mean, I think I've been in my bee barn maybe 5 times all winter. Maybe.
Yeah, he's doing 3 different mite treatments right now. I'm seeing which one works and which one doesn't. And I'm, wow.
That's it's definitely a different beekeeping. Like today, it was 73 Fahrenheit out here, so it's
it was. I got off the airplane and everybody on the airplane I think was nuts because I'm looking outside and I'm all excited because it's just raining and everything. And the poor woman that was sitting beside me, she says, "You like the rain?" I says, "No, I just really dislike snow." So
that it's 73 degrees. My bees are out flying today. They're hitting the dry pollen feeder and getting ready. They're getting ready to do their thing. So,
but you see, this is where you'll hear me say on every one of my videos, what I do is what I do. It's what I have come to do the research and what I think is best for my bees. It's not necessarily what's best for everybody's bees. And this is what people have to understand. I take a look at the science. I take a look at the traditional ways. I'm kind of a blend somewhere in between there. And I'll be honest with you, I've tried some things and failed miserably. I've tried some things with incredible success. You don't know until you try. Try it. Right? And that's what I keep telling, some of the classes and stuff like that. Like, well, we can't graft queens. We don't try it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to fail.
Right.
Big deal.
So it costs you 1 frame of eggs, larvae.
Well, not even, because when so I do a queen grafting course. It's not really a course. It's just anybody who wants to graft, come on over when I'm grafting. I'll set you up with a table and I'll give you the cups and you know what? We'll drop it in the starter cell there and we'll see how it goes. I mean, if you get one, great. If you don't get any, you know what? I'll be grafting again in 7 days.
Right. I heard you could spit in a cup. Does that work?
I've never tried that. I do find some people will do what they call a dry graft. I will select the cells with the royal jelly in the bottom. I find I haven't had very good luck with dry grafting. Nutrition, right? So the more royal jelly that larva has, I find the better you get a queen. So
do you collect jelly from say some other cells?
I've tried it. I'll be honest with you, it's too much of a pain in the ass.
So how do you get your cells wet then?
Just pick the larva with lots of royal jelly in the bottom.
Chinese grafting tool, right?
Oh, thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
So you're looking for the certain size and the volume of jelly.
Correct. Yeah, I've tried timing boards. Being as I keep a full-time job, timing boards just don't work for me. So I've learned to look in there. My eyesight isn't the best, so I've got a magnifying glass that I wear, and you can tell if you got a larva in amongst eggs everywhere else. Exactly. If you got and there's a larva there, and there's everything around it is eggs. You know what? That one probably just hatched, and the other ones probably aren't far behind. You know?
Oh, so you're really going small. See, I started getting the bigger ones because they're easy to pick up.
Yeah, I haven't found very good luck with those. I find the smaller the better.
Yeah, I had 6 dead ones.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want them just as soon as they get off past that egg stage, basically.
24 hours old or less is
like
what
Charlie
I find.
says, that C shape.
Exactly. It's just hatched.
Like a,
I went too big.
I
See,
think Mark
Galloway,
Miller said a comma.
You wait till the end after Charlie's done talking about all this, and you miss it.
Yeah, you're missing all the good info there.
Now that right there,
I've tried one of those. I can't make that darn thing work.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
All right, Charlie.
Happy
See you tomorrow, buddy. Charlie's there already.
Oh,
Let's
well,
see.
Oh, he's going to walk over.
I was going to say I made arrangements, so I'll be up there tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'll be up there tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, see, that's got the flexible thing to it.
That's a Chinese grafting tool. You can pick the royal jelly up.
Do you sand that down a little bit?
I haven't messed with this one. This one seems to be pretty flexible.
Okay. The other thing I found too is sometimes just a glass of warm water will help you a little bit as well.
But I haven't tried grafting yet. I want to.
Well, I am going to graft this year. I haven't grafted. Last year, I bought queens in bulk from a queen breeder, Cutic apiaries, and I was like the queen dealer, the dope dealer around here with queens, because I would buy them in bulk and get a discount, and then I would sell them for the going rate.
There you
so
go.
I'd make $12 a queen, and you know when you buy 25, they always give you that extra 26.
Yep.
So and I sold over 100 queens.
There you go.
So this year I'm going to do it a little bit different. In the spring, I'm going to go get queen cells and introduce queen cells, and then I don't want the start of my season to rest on my first year grafting technique.
Yep.
Right. So
the timing for that is key too. You guys probably don't have the problem down here, but I have to wait until I have the drones, right?
Right.
Now, everybody looks at me like I'm a little bit out in left field, but I do use the Bug Farmers hive heaters on a couple hives, and I'll crank them up end of February. And that way that queen starts laying in there right away. And the next thing you know, I've got drones coming out of those ones. So
what temperature you're setting?
I'm sorry?
What temperature are you setting your heaters?
I'll turn them up to about 23 degrees Celsius. Sorry, guys. You'll have to do the conversion. But
you asked for it.
I have to go look this up later. 23. Okay.
Damn Canadians, eh? But yeah,
Celsius.
And the trick with that is I don't turn up. So I have it set at 4 degrees all winter long, and they're in the bee shed right now at 4 degrees. But when
4 degrees in winter.
Yeah.
Celsius.
All Celsius. And then when I will turn them from 4 degrees to say, 7 to 9 or 10, and then 10 to 15, and 15 to 20, 20 to 23. So you want to do it gradually.
Step them up, yeah.
Give the bees a chance to move, because there's diffuser boards in the bottom, and they need the time to move and equalize that temperature and stuff like that throughout the hive.
Well, it's going to, here, people start splitting around Valentine's Day, around the middle of February.
Yeah, no, I can't. I don't even get them out of the bee barn until April.
Yeah, see, and my problem last year was being able to, everybody that so there's a progression, right? So with queen breeders, obviously commercial guys are getting the first queens out of the gate, right? Yep. And then everybody else is somewhere after that. So getting things down here in South Carolina, I would have to buy from somewhere south of me, which leaves Georgia and Florida or Texas. Because, when you start looking at like Greg at Nature's Image Farms, he's talking May. I'm like,
yep,
my season's half over in May already, or we're in a dearth or something. So it's timing here is kind of crucial. And
that goes back to what I was saying before. You got to find what works for you. I mentioned earlier in the chat here, I make a calendar and I tweak it every year. I go back and I review. In fact, when I get back from the Hive Life conference, I'll be taking a look at it and I'll be reviewing the calendar. Okay, what do I got to get ready for? And what, right. It's not a calendar as per date so much. So that's one thing that everybody has to understand. The calendar is based around a few different things. What are the temperatures? What are the willow trees doing? That's the first source of pollen for me up there. How's the snow melting? Because those dandelions are going to come out. These are the things that I watch for, and I will adjust my calendar to say, okay, I have to have the bees out of the barn by X. I see the pussy willows on the tree. I want my bees out by the time those pussy willows are coming out. Things like this. So it's not a calendar date per se, as it is a what is happening around me calendar, and then I adjust my calendar, according to that. And then once it starts, it's the cycle. It's the bee cycle. You know what? The 21 days with queens is 16.
Right.
Once that cycle starts, your season's on. You can't change from that. So
you got to stay with it.
Yeah, and it gets going. Yep.
Yeah, this is my grafting tool that I made. Oh shoot! Now I can't play it. There you go.
Out of bamboo.
You can do that.
Thick on the end.
The question is, did it work?
It was a little too stiff. I didn't know how to sand it so thin. So now I got to go back and touch it up.
Well, I was going to say, your Chinese grafting tool is probably less money than that pen.
Right.
I give you full points for creativity. I would have never thought of that. That's awesome.
Frank likes to do experimental stuff. He's kind of the jokester of the group too.
But you know what?
That documentary on that big-eyed monster, that big-eyed creature over there in Madagascar, it takes that bamboo, sticks it in there, and pulls the grubs out.
Everybody laughed at me when I made a grafting table too, and lo and behold, that's been one of the best things I ever came up with. Right, 200 drones in a hive in February 1st. Last year, 50 drones in the others. Yeah, I'd say if that's what you got for drones, you're more than capable of grafting at that point in time.
Now, the grafting table is an angle that so you can see in the cell. Is that the key?
Think of it like a miniature painter's easel, if you will.
So here's
that's
a question.
Real flexible, right? Yeah. See, mine was too stiff.
Yeah,
I didn't sand it down thin enough.
Yeah. So if it's too stiff, then what you got to do is pull it out. And I use what did I use? I think I used something like 800 or 1,000 sandpaper, and just really light pressure, thin it right down.
All right.
Somebody said sand it until it starts to get frayed at the edge, just starts to fray.
Yeah. Charlie also said stick it in your mouth. Let you spit.
I was going to say
I tried that too, but
I wouldn't have it frayed. I think if it was frayed, I'd be tempted to trim it. But
okay,
yeah. I just sand mine like this, so it kind of has that natural curve.
Perfect.
So the tip isn't real thin; it's the bending spot.
Well, yeah. I have all of mine thin personally, but once again, it's what works for you, right?
Because you push it kind of down the side of the cup, and it wants to curve in that cup.
Yeah,
and get underneath the larva. So you kind of
I ended up just kind of touching them, and it stuck to the tool. I got them.
Oh yeah, you don't want to touch it, because if you're not scooping it underneath them, you could roll them over, and if you roll them over, they won't be able to breathe. You'll kill them.
Well, I've rolled them back.
Yeah, too late.
What is that, German?
Yeah, this is the German style. It's got a big one on the other end for some reason. I'm not sure what you do with one that large.
That's stiff as a rock, right?
Yeah, it's like a dental.
Yeah, it is. And then that one hasn't been used, but you can kind of bend them into different. You can bend them.
So you kind of gouge the wax as you go.
Yeah, you
sometimes
just get under them. I mean, you're gonna break the cell on the side when you go underneath. You know what I mean? But you don't really scrape the wax like underneath the the larva, because I like to pick ones that are kind of in some jelly. So you just kind of go underneath the jelly, and you got to be careful you don't roll the larva over, because they actually breathe like
You're
through the
basically
side.
drowned them.
Yeah,
You know,
the
Yeah,
equivalent.
for lack of
valve
better words.
68.
when you see some of these people that graft all day long, it's an art. I'm not at that. I mean, I can graft. I don't know, probably 2 bars. 15 on a bar, probably in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So I'm not
damp
fast
cloth?
by any stretch of the imagination.
You're doing the damp cloth?
I put a warm damp cloth over top of them. Absolutely.
Is so like when you see the drones, the first drones, is that when you start doing your grafting, or do you give them some time? Like I saw a drone today, I give them a week and then do it, or
Well, you got to remember you're 16 days behind those drones, right?
right.
So when you see a drone, take a look. What have you got? Do you have cap drone brood? Right. If you got cap brood, drone brood, well, yeah, you can get going on your queens. You got to remember those drones take a little bit of time and stuff like that to mature as well, right?
Right.
So,
because I should have, hopefully, I mean, I've got 32 frame nukes that I can split to for queen rearing.
Yep.
And then I've got equal amount of 5 frame nukes that I can split to. And then I've got my honey production colonies. But I think the fine line for me this year is going to be splitting without reducing the strength too much in my honey production colonies.
Yeah.
Because last year I sacrificed my honey production basically for splitting.
Well, I did that too, but you guys laughed at me.
It killed me. So,
but I mean, yeah, I should have had probably double the honey of what I got, but I split hard, like I was splitting.
But we laughed at you because you said you only made 3,900 pounds.
That's all I made. I should have had about 6,000.
I'd be happy. Well, 6,000 is more than my state will allow me to sell without having to be like inspected by the restaurant people, right? That everything's
and I've got that. I've got my well, in Canada they call it the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. So I have all of that documentation and everything done.
Well, the beauty of it is. All right, thanks, William.
I got to stop here. Nice chatting with you guys.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you.
So,
James, how many do you have for production of honey then set aside?
I only had 4 set aside for production of honey last year. Each one of those made about 110 pounds, 115 pounds, per hive. And then the rest is just what I took out. So I took all of the honey off of my bees. So I know that's a controversial thing as well.
So did I do that? They feed it all back sugar water?
I feed it all back sugar water. Got to remember, my bees go into the shed in, they probably stop flying second week of October. They're in the shed by the end of October, definitely by the beginning of November, and they don't come out until April, right?
Somebody's saying they have less waste when you do the straight sugar. So you don't have to deposit outside.
Well, I'm going to go off of some YouTube videos because I haven't got the science behind it. But if you talk to, guys like Bob, and you talk to, you look at the studies from the University of Guelph, and there was a doctor that published something there as well. They had, what the heck was her name? I got it all at home. I don't have it here, but read the science, right? And they were saying that the processed sugar, the sucrose sugar, was far better for their gut than honey was because, no matter what kind of honey it is, or how pure it is, there's still the impurities in there that get in their gut, the extra pollens and things like this that get into their gut. And if they can't get out to do a cleansing flight, that's sitting in their gut the whole time, right? So I have, and I've been quite successful over the last 2 years. I pull all of the honey out. Now, if there's a bunch of brood on there and there's a bit of honey around the outside, I don't pull that out. I leave that in there for them. But if there's no brood on a frame, I pull the honey out. I pull that, and I give them back the empty frames, and I feed them and feed them and feed them, and I feed them hard right up until they either stop taking it or it freezes in the bucket.
So what kind of poundage do you think you end up feeding back for like a 10 frame?
Well, my highs, I don't have a scale. I wish I did, but I'm going to guess they're probably 90 plus pounds per single super.
That you're actually putting on a sugar?
Oh, sugar, yeah. And I put most of mine to bed with. I tried some this year where they were just a single brood box, but most of mine went in with a deep brood box and a medium on top of that I plugged out with sugar. So, those are probably 300-pound pallets that I ended up putting in.
So, Bob, what's 90 pounds of sugar going to cost me per hive?
Well, if you buy it at Sam's Club or Walmart, you figure $14 a piece. 75 pounds would be, I don't know, $36-ish, something. No more than that, $45.
What do you guys sell your honey for, if you don't mind me asking?
$10 a pound down here.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you're getting way more money for the honey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sell it to make it up, though. I've been giving it away.
That's not a very sustainable business plan.
No.
Well, I mean, and yeah, it gets out of control quick. I mean, as far as cost, right? So I started originally building boxes and stuff, and then I found out that, oh, wait a minute, this takes a lot of time and a lot of wood and a lot of trips to the hardware store to get what you need to do what you got to do. And for one guy, it wasn't feasible for me to do. And then COVID hit, and then the price of lumber went up, and it was like, but I'll just buy my boxes. And so I quickly went from the builder guy to the buy it guy.
But your boxes down here, are they 7/8 or 3/4 thick?
3/4.
3/4.
Yeah, see, all of ours up in Canada, they're all 7/8. That little bit extra sure makes a huge difference with the cold.
Yeah, they should be thicker down here.
So,
but you don't have yours outside, so what does it matter?
Well, no, but I mean, mine aren't outside, but everybody else's are.
He moves them outside.
They're out. Yeah, they're out. I mean, if you watch my video when I put them in, I mean, it was what, -8 or -12.
Do you do
I sell your honey in drums? Yes, I do. So I sell it in drums and in 5-gallon pails, as well as everything from a 14-ounce jar all the way up to a 7-kilogram pail. So.
So you leave yours out until like 14 below.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they do get a hit of cold then.
Oh, they get a hit of cold, absolutely, and they get the cold in the spring too, right? If you go back, mine didn't get hit nearly as hard as what they did in Manitoba, but I know if you go back and look at some of the videos there from Ian and Brad and stuff like that last year, I felt so sorry for those guys. I mean, they're 6 feet of snow and rain and floods, and it broke my heart to watch them pull these bee boxes out of the stream. There's just all that work gone.
I'll tell you, watching those videos, and I'm trying to emulate Ian's videos a little bit more as far as the strength of the colonies, because he doesn't seem, I mean, obviously he's doing things to prevent swarming, but his colonies, the amount of bees in his colonies seem to be
like 10 deep, right?
Yeah, a lot stronger colonies than mine.
I only have like 3 and 4 frames of half full, and
that was the paranoia that I had set in. Is like I didn't want them to swarm, so I was just splitting them and keeping them 2 weeks. So this year, my goal is to leave them a lot stronger this year.
Just have you guys heard of the 70-30 rule?
Yeah.
So that's what I use. I mean, when I've got 7 out of the 10 frames have got nectar stuff in them, give them another box, right? And then there's the whole under super, over super. I just drop another box on top, right?
Right.
If I've got my lifter handy and stuff like that, and I got it off, well, there's the occasional time. I mean, yeah, I'll drop I'll under super them or something like that. But try it, see what works. But I kind of use that 70-30 principle.
Yeah, we're thinning them down too much.
And
and we got something a little bit different than you guys have up there too, where you guys have this long, prolonged winter, and then when your spring flow hits, it's hard and heavy until you have to put them up. Where ours hits earlier, and then we have a long dearth period in the middle of the summer, and then we might get a little bit of fall flow in between.
Yeah, I get a second flow once again because I try not to put my bees around the canola field. So I'll put my bees around a clover and an alfalfa field, and I get that first flow. What would it be? I'm going to say end of May, beginning of June. I mean, the clover and the alfalfa and stuff, goes. And then I'm fortunate enough that the farmers usually come out there and they'll usually harvest that. They'll swath it. And then the second cut comes along. So I get a second flow out of that. Now it's a much smaller flow. And yes, I would get way more honey if I stuck it, by a canola field or something like that. But I find I can get a better price for my honey if it's not canola honey than what so I get I guess I'm going for less honey, but I can sell it for more because it's not canola, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, and honestly, it's business in general, right? It turns out that ends up being less work for the same amount of money.
Well, and everybody up there has canola honey. So there's canola honey everywhere. If I want to sell my product, I need something that, isn't in every grocery store everywhere up there, right? I mean, I'm fortunate. I've been, in the midst of doing some really good deals with, like I say, with some of the other farmers up there, a meadery and this Haskellberry farm and stuff like that. But that didn't fall on my lap. I mean, I had to go and I had to
beat the doors.
I had to find this stuff, right? And then I had to convince them, right, to try it. And of course, the only way you do that is, now you're giving away some product, right?
Right.
And say, go try this. And then they come back and they're like, this is amazing. And
not if I don't.
Exactly.
I had a customer come and buy some honey out of my front yard, and they're like, we've got this 16-acre chestnut orchard. We would love for you to bring some bees down. So I took some bees down, and I literally had 5 nukes over there. I mean, I didn't know how they would do over there, and I put them out. And this was the first year they've ever won a blue ribbon in the state fair. So now they're hooked. They're like, oh, it was the bees. The bees did it. Bring us some bees next year. And,
you guys down here in the States caught on to the pollination with the bees a long time ago, like 50 years ago or whenever you guys started with the almond fields. It's a hard sell up in Canada, to convince the farmers. They're like, yeah, you know what? I got a spot that my seed drill can't reach in the corner. You can throw your bees in the corner, and it's just like they don't care.
Right.
But they're starting to see with certain crops. I mean, some crops it doesn't make any difference, but they're starting to see with certain crops 10, 15, 20% increase in yield. And it's to the point now where the combines and everything like that measure the yield so closely that they're starting to put 2 and 2 together. And it's really slow coming, but like I say, you guys down here in the States, you guys caught on to this years and years and years ago.
I had a farmer call me. He said, how much would you pay me to bring bees to your field? And I said, I think you got the equation backwards. It's how much would you pay me to bring my bees to your field?
Yeah.
So what you got here, Frank?
That's the size of a colony. Is that normal?
No, that's pretty small.
What time of year is that?
That was just a week ago.
Oh, well, that's a little different, right? I don't know your.
So this is just after we had a cold spell.
So just looking at that frame, I see a few issues with that. Like you guys asked me what I see when I dive into it and how I assess it really quickly. So I saw a couple problems with that frame. So right there, it's not built out, and the comb that was built out on the other side, it's built out away from the frame. Wax your frames. that frame should be like, that one's not too bad. You can see how they're drawing the wax and everything out. But I learned so hard last year. Nobody will ever be able to convince me not to wax my foundation ever again.
Even if you buy the wax.
I bought the premier double waxed foundation, and I had it in the hives and they weren't drawing it out. I couldn't figure out why. And once again, this is just what I found.
Or they draw off of it.
Or they drew off, exactly. Now, what I did is I literally had some that I put in there at the beginning of the year. And one of my videos, actually, one of my subscribers commented, because I was putting wax frames in there in, what was it, the beginning of October. And they're like, they're not going to draw it out. They're not going to draw it out. It's like, yeah, they are. I was right beside a alfalfa field. There was a second flow on. They plugged that frame out in no time. But what I did is I actually took this commercially waxed, double waxed frame and dropped it in, and then I dropped one in that I waxed, and I alternated them all the way across. And I went back in 24 hours. The ones that I waxed, they had them half drawn out in 24 hours. The other ones were in there for the whole season, and they didn't touch them. There's nobody that will convince me that not to wax my frames ever again.
Are you dabbing them like with a paintbrush, or?
Nope, I use a roller. I actually use Cayman's method. So
just use the wax melter and roll it on there
and roll it on. I swear by that. Like it, where I bought the double wax foundation, everything like this, and I paid the extra money for it, and
so that leads you to say, well, then why don't you just buy the regular plastic foundation with no wax and wax it yourself?
That's all I do now,
and it works much better.
Much better, much better. Wax. If I could give, if I learned one lesson last year, and I learned the hard way, wax your frames.
Now, can you pre-wax them too far in advance that they lose their smell or something? Or
nope. The little bit of beeswax on there, away you go.
So I could wax them right now and be able to use them in 2 months' time. It would be fine.
You'd be fine. Yep. Now I wrap them all up too. I have that shrink wrap, so I wrap 10 in basically I wrap them all up 10 to a stack, so I can just grab a stack and I got everything I need for a super. Now that changes.
I've got about 4 cases of frames out there that are already pre-waxed. I mean, from the factory. I'm probably just going to have to. But I've got about 15 pounds of wax, so I'm going to have to go to town.
If you were asking my opinion, I would say wax it. You're going to hear stuff from both people, and I hear stuff all the time. I talked to Brad on that, and he's like, I've had no problems.
I get it the other way. I get it where they'll wonky comb it, or they'll actually draw it out, but they're not actually. It's not. It's just like a
comb in front of a comb, right?
Might as well just be a top bar hive.
Exactly. Now I have some of those in there too. So I have some that all they have is a starter strip. Now my daughter makes, she makes lip balm and stuff like this. So I have some that I put in there simply to get that virgin white wax. And, and as soon as they get that nice teardrop in there, I'm cracking that off and throwing it back in. And, they must just hate me because every time they get that thing just about down to the bottom, I'm cutting it out. But,
swarm prevention.
I was going to say, buying somebody else's wax, is that going to be just as bad then?
There's controversies on that one too, right?
But then again, you're heating the wax, so you're basically killing anything that could be in it.
True.
Well, the controversy's always in what chemicals.
Exactly.
You'll hear that Leo dude. I source my wax from here where there's no chemicals being sprayed. I've heard that in some videos.
Yeah,
But can you even say that with that? What if the guy, the homeowner that's 2 blocks down that's spraying his home garden or whatever? You don't know.
This is where, this is where I get a kick out of it because, now you're talking about the whole organics thing. This is like a political night or something. Did I miss the topic tonight?
We go all over, man, and we don't limit ourselves to one rabbit hole to go down.
But I mean, yeah. What did the farmer? I mean, these bees will fly up to 3 miles. I think I think that's what the science says. You know,
and it's not just the bees. If you have pests flying in, how far are they flying?
Well, this is what
what are they do?
Exactly? Did a farmer spray the field, or was it a herbicide? Is it a pesticide? Now, I am a big fan of trying to rotate my equipment out every 5 years. You know, I'll scrape it down, melt it down, whatever, you know, every 5 years. And this is part of the reason I started wax dipping all of my box here last year, is because, you know what, the Alberta Association and stuff like this, they recommend you replace 5% of your equipment every year. Well, that's a pretty expensive cost, but if you can dip this thing in 350-degree wax and reseal it, or kill.
But you're not burning them?
What's that?
You're not burning them?
No, 350 degrees Fahrenheit now. See, I'm flipping back and forth. Damn Canadians. But no, so I think that's what I use. HiveGuard. I don't know what you guys use down here, but I use the product called HiveGuard. I get it from Canadian Wax. And I think that's what they say is 350 degrees. Now, they say 350 degrees for 3 minutes. I've changed that a little bit because I find it depends on how much moisture is in the box. Now, I think Cayman said he's got a bunch that he dipped for 20 minutes. I think that might be excessive too, but this is just me. So I'll put it in my wax dipper until I see that it's kind of stopped foaming. And,
okay.
Right at that point in time, I think what is done, in my opinion, is it's done evaporating the water off. Pull your box out. Now I do dip them twice, so I'll pull it out. I'll let them drip, and then I'll do a second one for just 2 or 3 minutes. Does it do anything? I don't know if it does or not, but they look better.
Does it foam up again?
It doesn't foam up again. No.
All right.
So
yeah, I always thought the foam was like the air and moisture both.
Hey guys, we've been going 3 hours. I got to get up in the morning and drive to Tennessee.
It's not 6. Come on,
Charlie.
How
long does it take you, Bob?
Only 4 hours and 10 minutes. Not far from here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which way I should go. I can go up through through Knoxville or Chattanooga and Knoxville, or I can go up around Gainesville and up the Smoky Mountains. I think I'm going to go up that way.
Through the mountains. Yeah, you get the. Don't stop in Cherokee at the casino on the way in. You might not make it to Hive Life. You might be the high roller.
No, yeah, it never seems to work that way for me. The high.
I'm the big loser. Yeah, the high donator. There's a reason why they're in big buildings, right? Big shiny buildings.
Yeah, they don't get those by paying everything out.
And free alcohol while you're gambling, right?
There you go.
So,
no, all right. I'll be up there tomorrow.
Yep, I'll be there. I'm hoping to get there around lunchtime or so, because my wife's coming. She's not really interested in the beekeeping conference, so I gotta do some things. Take her some places and make her feel special for a couple days. Well,
what I gotta do?
Open the car door.
Yeah.
I was gonna say before I leave Atlanta, I gotta go find a Target or a Costco or a Walmart or something, because my suitcase came down with grafting tables in it and honey and stuff in it, so.
You got to buy some clothes.
The clothes had to stay at home.
Hey, well, I've got about 500 bottles of my swarm lure going up.
You can buy some merch down at Hive Life.
Yeah, you can just get all kinds of beekeeping shirts and hats and
away you go. I looked so hard at the airport in Edmonton. I was trying to find a child's medium shirt. I was with the Canadian flag on it. I was going to bring it down for Cayman, but I couldn't find one.
Last year he had a picture with him and beekeeping with Natalie, right? Natalie on there. Yeah. And I said, well, hey, Cayman, at least you're taller than the teenage girl in the photo. And I
don't know how big he is, but everybody's always giving him a hard time. So yeah, I looked all over. I walked up and down that airport in every concession. But of course, I left Edmonton at 6 a.m. this morning. We were the first ones through security and everything, so there wasn't a whole lot open. But oh well.
Yeah, I'm doing 26 to 40.
Wasn't Natalie supposed to walk around with some kind of sign or something to get it free something? I forget that was early in the year.
Oh, she won like Junior Beekeeper of the Year or something from some.
Yeah, conference. She's supposed to wear that, and she gets a deal if she wore walking around with it.
Yeah, and I'll see if she does. We'll hold her to it.
Well, but, like I said, I got to find. What is it? A Target, I guess, is probably best down here or something like that. Where
Target is usually a little bit nicer than the Walmart type stuff, but
perfect.
It's all Chinese.
Yeah, Walmart's where the poor man goes.
The joke's on you guys tonight because I'm not even wearing pants.
Or you can hit up a Goodwill.
Chilling in his boxers. Hey, you're in America when your headboard is camouflage.
Yeah. Hey.
You get you a Goodwill.
Yeah, Goodwill, Dollar General.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening. James, thanks for checking in with us. I appreciate you. And I'll be over at, Horizontal Hives.
There you go.
I'll be over there.
Like I say, that's Ricky's drafting table that took up most of my suitcase there. So
we're going to be doing some live streams right from the show. Lee's taking his computer and his cameras and microphones. So, stop in. You could be a guest speaker on our live stream.
Yeah, how many chips do you have, Bob?
Yeah. Here's what you
storage hard drives you have.
Oh, how many
SD cards?
Oh, I don't have that many. I've only got 2.
YouTube will allow him.
Oh yeah, hell, you can stream for like 12 hours straight on YouTube without being kicked off. We haven't yet to defile ourselves like that.
Well, we know we can do 6 for sure.
Oh yeah, 6 hours. I've actually done 12 hours before on a stream.
Wow.
How do those guys do those live streams of their Hive 24/7? Is that something different?
They probably started over afterwards.
Well, actually, there's a company out of Australia that do that now. They count the bees in and out, and they can tell you whether it's hauling honey or nectar or pollen, and they run that live stream all the time.
There is an app you can buy for your phone that you can hold up a frame and take a picture of it, and it'll do a mite count on your bees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean they charge for it, so I'm too cheap to buy that. I'm like, so, but they do have it.
I'm just hoping I can find one of those.
I bet you Lee's got it.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, I'm hoping to find one of those blue Varroa cups there. That
Saracel cup. Saracel's supposed to be there.
Yeah. So
that'd be good. But yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to buy. I'm bringing the pickup truck. So, and the back is empty, so I can fill it up.
I've been told to get you a long hive.
Hey, and if y'all buy my lure at the show, I'll be able to buy more shit to bring home.
Yeah, Bob's got a U-Haul gift card, right?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I've got enough points at Tractor Supply where they owe me some trailer rentals.
There you go.
Trailer rentals.
Tell Ricky to leave it on his vehicle and haul it down to you when he heads back home.
He would do it too, but I think it's like, I think he told me he drove. He came down and bought some queens for me, and I told him, I said, Ricky, if you come down, I'll just give you some queens, and he's like, no, I'm gonna pay for them, and he got the pleasure. I don't understand this. I for the life of me, I can't understand it. Like, fleas and stuff like that don't bite me. Mosquitoes don't bite me. Bees sting the shit out of me. We could have 5 people in a group. My nephew was there with just a veil and some long gloves on. Never got stung. Ricky's sitting there. Never got stung. I've got a jacket on, a Guardian jacket, gloves, and they're tearing the shit out of my legs, my crotch.
What's the cologne you use?
Oh, the worst one I had, about 3 years ago, I helped do a bunch of splitting for one of the commercial beekeepers up there. And he had one of the local farmers lifting the hives off of the back of the truck. And I think he had, there must have been like 12 or 14 hives. And anyways, he ended up dumping all of those hives right beside me where I was splitting. And I was good. Like my whole veil that I had on was absolutely covered with bees. Like if you took a picture, I looked like one big swarm. But not a single one of them was stinging me. But it was really neat to see through the, through your veil. All you could see was basically little bees, right?
Right.
But the guy that was on the tractor panicked. He came up and he decided he was going to start brushing them off of me. Well, I got 700 stings that day.
700.
Yeah, I spent 4 days in the hospital.
Wow.
It was like there's where you shouldn't have people that don't know about bees around bees. If you would have just let it be, they would have buggered right off.
Right.
Not a single sting. But yeah, that was probably my worst day beekeeping.
William said his bees get defensive when he watches one of my videos. I mean, it's crazy. Matter of fact, when Ricky was down here, we did a video, and this colony was about, I think it had 3 supers on it and 2 deeps, and it was a nuke that I put in this year, a Carniolan nuke, and I was surprised because I never had Carniolans till this year.
Yep.
And now that same colony has they're not decimated, but they're just a smaller cluster. And
that's what they go into winter with.
Yep.
Right. A Carnolian doesn't have a big cluster that they keep for the winter. They're a smaller cluster.
And then they just crank up and go.
She'll crank it up. Yep. Yeah.
So,
if you want the big clusters, you got to go with the Italians or I don't know a bunch about the Caucasians. So I was watching one of Bob Binney's videos on the way down on the airplane there today. But he was saying he's got a Carnolian Caucasian cross or something like that.
Right.
I want to quiz him up on that one.
Well, I got, I guess, one of Greg Burns's queens, and it's kind of funny because he lives in Ohio. He went down to Bruce's Bees in Alabama to take him some queens when he was on his way to go to Florida for vacation. And he called me and he said, "Hey, do you live in Columbia, South Carolina?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely. That's where I live." He says, "Well, we're coming back from Florida. And on the way home, we'd stop by and see you for a few minutes." I said, "Cool." And I was joking. I said, "You got any queens with you?" And he said, "Well, I do have one queen." He had one queen that had been in his jacket pocket in the cage, and that he forgot to give Bruce or whatever. And he fed it with a toothpick for the whole week he was in Florida.
Yep.
And he gave it to me. I put it in the colony. They let her loose, and she laid for maybe a week and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And then they started drawing queens. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, she may not have been laying to the status from being in that cage for a week. That could be all it would have taken, right?
And they just
if you're going to have a queen in one of those little cages for, you don't want to have them in there for any longer than, like, I'd say 2 weeks max. And even at that, it's a crapshoot. Well,
last year I was banking queens because I found out real quick. We've got one bee supply store in town, and everybody calls them, "Do you have any queens? Do you have any queens?" Oh, yeah. And they didn't. So I was like, I was in there one day and I asked them, I said, "You guys have any queens?" And they said no. And I said, "Well, I've got some if anybody wants any." I didn't have any at that time, right? So the next day I drove down and picked up 25 queens.
There you go.
And I'm getting phone calls, and then people are driving 2 hours to pick up 5 queens. And
see, you're doing it wrong. I did the same thing because I'm 5.5 hours from Edmonton. And that's the closest, place where you can get them. And of course, Better Bee is over in Winnipeg, so he's even further away there yet. Or Dancing Bee, I should say. But, it's like, I don't have any queens, but I got some nukes.
Right. They come with a queen.
Yeah. I got a queen, but you got to take the nuke too. So
yeah,
throw a couple $100 on there, and you can have a queen.
And I did that, and that's what, since I had these queens, these surplus, I didn't think twice about replacing a queen or doing stuff that most people would say don't do. Weak colony went queenless. I took the whole nuke. I didn't do any paper combine. I just dropped the whole nuke right in the center of the 10 frame colony with the other bees. and they became a family, and they're still rocking it today. So,
yeah, well, there you go. Every now and then
you don't have to let them go. You don't have to go queenless for a while before you drop that in.
Well, yeah, they went queenless and started to decline. Of course, you don't. It could be 2 weeks, because you go in there 1 week and they're still pretty strong, and then you go in the next week and you're like, something's not quite right, and then by the time you make the decision, it's been 2 weeks since they've been in there with nothing,
And yeah, now you're going to combine them, and they probably already made a queen, so now you're going to create a swarm because you put queen cell in there,
or you just killed off one of your queens that you put in there. Yeah. Those are the hard knocks you learn.
All the things. But anyways, guys, have a great evening.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you down in Tennessee.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Bye for now.
Bye.